Chapter 23:48. Brother Lin, what do you think? Lin Han thought for a moment and said, Longao obviously wants to kill us with a borrowed knife. But we can beat him at his own game. How do we beat him at his own game? The two of them muttered something. Longao, who had returned to the Soaring Dragon Empire, walked straight into the main hall. Although Long Ying had swallowed the Wind and Cloud Chaos Tablet, he didn't go into seclusion like the others. No matter what, Long Ying was the emperor of the Soaring Dragon Empire. If he went into seclusion casually, everyone would know what was going on. To deceive others, Longao knew that if his big brother also went into seclusion, it would attract the attention of others. Under such circumstances, it was better to save some trouble. Seventh brother, what did Lin Han and Wang Tao say? This was Long Ying's idea. She wanted to borrow the power of the Second Starry Sky Empire to deal with the First Starry Sky Empire. She wanted to borrow a knife to kill the First Starry Sky Empire and then reap the benefits. Longao didn't hide anything from his big brother. He told him everything that had happened. After listening, Long Ying lowered his head in silence. Longao didn't say anything either. Just like that, the entire main hall was silent. Long Ying didn't say anything. Longao didn't say anything either. Time ticked by. After some time, Long Ying suddenly raised his head and smiled. Seventh brother, I can almost say that Lin Han and Wang Tao will agree to our alliance. Longao was surprised. He didn't know why his big brother was so confident. Because even he wasn't sure if Lin Han and Wang Tao would agree to join forces to deal with the First Cosmic Empire. Big brother, why are you so confident? Long Ying knew what his seventh brother was thinking. He smiled confidently and said, Seventh brother, I've already investigated Lin Han and Wang Tao's personalities. Especially now, the vast universe thinks that you have a cosmic ruler behind you. So, the two of them will definitely agree to join forces with us to deal with the First Cosmic Empire. So that's how it is. If that's the case, then Lin Han and Wang Tao will definitely agree. But at this time, Long Ying's face became serious again. Big brother, what's wrong? Longao could clearly sense that something seemed to have happened to his big brother in front of him. What was going on? Seventh brother, although I am certain that Lin Han and Wang Tao will help us deal with the First Starry Sky Empire, they will not completely trust us. If nothing unexpected happens, the two of them will beat us at our own game. Long Ying was very suitable to be the ruler of a country. Long Ying's strategy was truly formidable and formidable. Longao had also thought of this. It would be strange if the two of them wholeheartedly helped him deal with the number one Starry Sky Empire. Beat them at their own game? Longao couldn't figure out what Lin Han and Wang Tao wanted to do. Longao couldn't figure it out, and neither could Long Ying. Both of them were very clear that if they didn't understand this matter, then they couldn't just casually make a move. If they were to start a war with the First Starry Sky Empire, then the Second Starry Sky Empire would try to beat them at their own game. Seventh brother, what are you going to do? Counter soldiers with arms, water with an earth weir. Big brother, when the time comes, we will split into two. I will join forces with the two of them to deal with the First Cosmic Empire, while Big Brother will flank the Second Cosmic Empire from behind. Hearing Seventh Brother's words, Long Ying was very shocked because he understood what Seventh Brother meant. He never thought that Seventh Brother didn't only want to deal with the First Starry Sky Empire, but also wanted to deal with the Second Starry Sky Empire. Did the Empire have such strength? As the Emperor of the Soaring Dragon Empire, Long Ying was very clear about the strength of the Empire. Not to mention 1 versus 2, dealing with the First and Second Starry Sky Empire together, even casually dealing with one of the 9 great Starry Sky Empires would be a big problem. Long Ying didn't know what Seventh Brother was thinking. Was he a bit too reckless this time? Seventh Brother, I believe you know a thing or two about the Empire's situation. If we rashly go all out to deal with the 2 Starry Sky Empires, I'm afraid we will go for wool and come home shorn. How could Longao not know about his big brother's worries? After thinking about it, Longao said, "Big brother, you know that there are tigers on the mountain, but you still want to go there. The First Starry Sky Empire and Second Starry Sky Empire are only afraid of the Starry Sky Dominator behind me. They don't put us in their eyes. This is for the best. We can take advantage of this opportunity to catch them off guard." Catch them off guard? Catching them off guard required great strength. Even if the Soaring Dragon Empire was developing very fast, whether it was the First Starry Sky Empire or the Second Starry Sky Empire, their strength and heritage were all there. It was almost impossible to shake the First Starry Sky Empire and Second Starry Sky Empire. This time, joining hands with the Second Starry Sky Empire to shake the First Starry Sky Empire was unknown. Longing was very clear about how serious the current situation was. If they took a wrong step, the Empire would really fall into eternal damnation. One wrong step would lead to many wrong steps. Big brother, listen to me. I know that there is still a big gap between us and the First Starry Sky Empire and the other 8 great Starry Sky Empires, but we don't have much time. When the other Starry Sky Dominators recover their peak strength, they will certainly control their own Starry Sky Empires. If that happens, it will not be so easy for us to intervene and deal with the other Starry Sky Empires. Longing and Longao were worried about different things. Longing was worried about the strength of the 9 great Starry Sky Empires and whether their empire could contend against them. Longao was worried about the 9 great Starry Sky Empires and the Clairvoyant Master. For some reason, Longao had a feeling that once the 9 great Starry Sky Empires regained their Starry Sky Dominators, they would certainly control the Starry Sky Empires. Without a doubt, once the 9 great Starry Sky Empires gained control, they would certainly deal with him first. Because of this, Longao was very afraid of the 9 great Starry Sky Empires. Because although he had the 12 Chaos Stone Tablets, Xiling and Longchong, except for Xiling, the others were devouring the Chaos Stone Tablets for the first time. Their experience was definitely not enough. Refining the Chaos Stone Tablets to become a Starry Sky Dominator would not be an easy task. The 9 great Starry Sky Empires' refining speed would certainly be faster than his family. Therefore, Longao wanted to destroy the 9 great Starry Sky Empires first, not giving the 9 great Starry Sky Empires any chance. This way, as long as he could get the help of the Clairvoyant Master, his empire could develop. If all 14 great Starry Sky Empires refined the Chaos Stone Tablets and became Starry Sky Dominators, they could ignore everyone, including the Clairvoyant Master. Chapter 2349. Finally, Longing agreed with Longao's idea to deal with both the First and Second Universe Empires at the same time. Longing knew her 7th brother's character. Without full confidence, he wouldn't casually make a move. After all, he had the whole family behind him. If they failed this time, the Empire's life would be at stake. Longao and Longing both prepared. 3 days later. In the vast space, there was still no one around. You two agreed? Longao laughed coldly inside. He had already guessed that both Lin Han and Wang Tao would agree to work together against the First Universe Empire. Lin Han laughed. Looking at Wang Tao, he said, "Longao, we're both smart people, there's no need to beat around the bush. We have no objections to your suggestion, however. We'll split it like before. After we deal with the First Universe Empire, we'll split it 50-50. How about that?" "I have no problem with that." Without even thinking about it, Longao directly agreed. In an instant, both sides had already made a deal to deal with the First Universe Empire together. Both sides didn't make a move immediately, because Longao and the other 2 Pinnacle Universe Immortals weren't fully confident. They had to seize this rare opportunity to make a move. When the time came, they had to succeed in one hit. Soaring Dragon Empire. In the forbidden area of the back mountain, there was a single courtyard with an elegant environment. Longao sat quietly with Aoshue, sunbathing in the courtyard. During this time, Longao was prepared to spend some time with Aoshue, because out of the 4 girls, only Aoshue was pregnant, and the other 3 insisted on Longao coming. "Brother Long, it's been so many years, are you tired?" Looking at Longao sitting beside her, Aoshue felt her heart ache, because ever since she met Longao, her lover had never stopped, not even for a minute. Longao laughed. "Some things have to be done." Seemingly not wanting to dwell on this issue, Longao asked, "Aoshue, how are you feeling?" Aoshue wasn't a fool. Of course, she knew that Longao didn't want to dwell on this issue. He sighed deeply in his heart. Aoshue was a very understanding woman. Since Longao didn't want to talk about this issue, she didn't continue to ask. "I don't know either." Aoshue was also helpless at the thought of the child in her belly. Just as Longao was about to speak, a voice suddenly rang out. His expression suddenly changed. "Brother Long, what's wrong? Wait for me here." Longao's face was very gloomy. He took a step forward and appeared outside the soaring dragon realm. "3 starry sky eagles, I think you must be tired of living. You actually dared to come here." The 3 that had just descended were none other than the pillars of the number 1 Universe Empire, the 3 Pinnacle Universe Undyings, the 3 Space Eagles. Originally, they came with a strong momentum, but what happened in the end? Before the 3 of them could even open their mouths, Longao had already made a show of strength. The more he acted like this, the more uncertain the 3 of them felt. Could it be that the divine divination starry sky ruler behind Longao really was Longao's backer? It would be a lie to say that they weren't afraid. Because the 3 of them knew very well that as long as the star ruler took action, the 3 of them wouldn't be enough. Their expressions changed again and again, becoming very gloomy. "Longao, we came this time not to make things difficult for you, but to cooperate with you." Cooperation? What did this mean? Longao was very curious. Just now, he clearly felt the murderous aura released from the 3 of them. If it weren't for the star ruler behind them, he believed that the 3 of them would have already dealt with him. Why would they talk about cooperation? Could it be that the 3 of them wanted to join forces with him to deal with the number 2 Universe Empire? Sure enough, just as Longao guessed. Sky Eagle said with a smile, "Longao, you should understand what I mean. For so many years, the 2nd Universe Empire has been biting us, and I don't need to say more about the grudge between you and the 2nd Universe Empire. So, I hope that we can join forces to deal with the 2nd Universe Empire. I don't know what you think." Sure enough, they wanted to join forces. Longao sneered because he knew very well that if it weren't for the fact that the 3 of them were afraid of the star ruler behind him, even if the star ruler didn't exist, the 3 of them would still be afraid. It was good that they were afraid, otherwise, the 3 of them wouldn't have come to join forces, but to attack him directly. Taking a step back, he had to admit that the 3 of them were really old foxes. "No problem, that's what I think," Longao directly agreed. "In that case, why don't we find a place and have a good discussion about how to join forces to deal with the 2nd Universe Empire?" "No problem." Longao and the 3 Sky Eagles didn't enter the soaring dragon empire, but found an intermediate plane. After a few hours of discussion, the 2 sides reached an agreement. Longao, the 1st Universe Empire and the 2nd Universe Empire each had their own ulterior motives and wanted to destroy each other. In this way, the 3 sides weren't sincere in their cooperation. In the end, it was really unknown who would win and who would lose. Soaring Dragon Empire, inside a grand hall. "7th brother, you really agreed to join forces with the 1st Universe Empire?" Longao did not hide much from his elder brother. He told him everything in detail, including the meaning behind it, as well as his own meaning. He told him everything clearly. Longing, who was originally very worried, nodded vigorously after hearing the overall plan of his 7th brother, and said with a smile, "7th brother, your plan is indeed flawless." When the time comes, the First Universe Empire and the Second Universe Empire will definitely suffer losses, and we can just sit back and reap the benefit. Longao's intention was actually very simple, which was to join forces with the First Universe Empire and the Second Universe Empire. At that time, he would be the bait to lure the two empires to attack each other. Seventh brother, if the two universe empires know about this, we will be in a lot of trouble. Big brother, don't worry about this. The First Universe Empire and the Second Universe Empire have been fighting for so many years, it's no longer a situation where you die or I die. Otherwise, how could the two sides not know about the agreement I made with them? It's really a joke. Longing nodded in agreement. If this was really the case, this was indeed the best time for the Empire to rise. As the Emperor of the Soaring Dragon Empire, he certainly hoped that the Empire could grow quickly and replace them. Seventh brother, I know what you mean. From now on, I will make arrangements. This time, our Soaring Dragon Empire must not lose, we can only win. Longing was very clear about what it meant if the Empire lost this time. At that time, the entire Empire would be completely destroyed, never to rise again. Chapter 2350. Longing prepared with all her might. Longao was not too worried. The First and Second Starry Sky Empires were like fire and water. He believed that they would not expect him to make such a move. A dog biting another dog, and he would reap the benefit. Yuin, what's wrong? Longao, who was thinking about how to deal with the First and Second Starry Sky Empires, was suddenly found by Yuin. Her face was solemn. The aura in her body was chaotic. Yuyin's current state was not good. Longao did not know what had happened to Yuin. Brother Long, I don't know what's going on. Ever since I swallowed the Ice and Fire Chaos Stone tablet, two types of energy appeared in my body. One is fire attribute energy, and the other is ice attribute energy. That's normal. On this point, Longao naturally knew what was going on. The Ice and Fire Chaos Stone tablet naturally had ice and fire attribute energy. I know this is normal, but as I slowly refined the tablet, I found that the two types of energy became more and more chaotic. Sometimes they even fought in my body. At this point, Yuin did not continue speaking, but the meaning of her words was very clear. He was startled. Longao was very clear that although Yuin said it so simply, it was already very powerful. Otherwise, Yuin would not have come to find him so casually. He knew Yuyin's character too well. He did not speak any more nonsense. Yuin, take out the Ice and Fire Chaos Stone tablet. Yuin nodded and summoned the tablet. It was the so-called Ice and Fire Chaos Stone tablet. Longao's face gradually turned solemn because he could clearly sense that there was definitely a problem with the Ice and Fire Primal Chaos Stone tablet that was floating in front of him. Otherwise, the two forces within the Primal Chaos Stone tablet would not start a war with each other. What was going on? Yuin did not speak. She just quietly stood by the side and watched. Follow me. Longao brought Yuin and the tablet and disappeared from the spot. He instantly entered the Chaos Palace. Within the Chaos Palace, Longao was very clear in his heart. He had no way of controlling the tablet, let alone dealing with the ice and fire attribute energy. The only way was to rely on the neutral tablet in front of him. Although he didn't know what grade his attributeless Chaos Stone tablet was, Lin Ju was almost certain that his attributeless Chaos Stone tablet was most likely a high-grade Chaos Stone tablet. A non-elemental Primal Chaos tablet could suppress any other Primal Chaos tablet. Longao's meaning was very simple. That was to use the non-elemental Primal Chaos Stone tablet to figure out what was going on with the two elemental energies within the Ice and Fire Primal Chaos Stone tablet. If he did not sense it, he would not know. Longao would never have thought that this would be the reason why the two powers within the Ice and Fire Chaos Stone tablet were attacking each other. Yuin, I made a mistake. What's wrong? Yuin was very curious. She did not know what was going on. Yuin, your physique is very special. It belongs to the darkness physique category. Therefore, among the 12 Chaos Stone Tablets, the most suitable one for you is the Darkness Chaos Stone Tablet and not the Ice and Fire Chaos Stone Tablet. Miscalculation. Longao blamed himself, because if he had sensed Yu Yin's body type in advance, such a thing would not have happened. Luckily Yu Yin discovered it early. Otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable. Yu Yin was very clear about the guilt in Longao's heart. She smiled and said, "Big brother Long, this matter is not your fault. I don't want this Ice and Fire Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. You can see who can devour it." Yu Yin's attitude was very good. If it was anyone else, how could they give up so easily after obtaining the tablet? However, Yu Yin did not care if she could swallow the tablet. She only cared about one thing. That was her lover. As long as she could be with her lover forever, everything else was nonsense, including the tablet. Yu Yin, I know what to do. Wait for me. Longao's figure disappeared from the Chaos Palace and appeared in a very elegant courtyard. Aoer, you're here. Grandma, how have you been recently? Longao's grandmother was Mu Wanfeng. There were 12 Chaos Stone Tablets. Mu Wanfeng had devoured the Dark Chaos Stone Tablet, while Yuin had devoured the Ice and Fire Chaos Stone Tablet. Very good. Mu Wanfeng's attitude was also very good. Almost everyone who had obtained a Primal Chaos Tablet had chosen to go into closed-door training. Only Mu Wanfeng did not go into closed-door training. She just refined the Primal Chaos Tablet normally. Aoer, is there something wrong? Mu Wanfeng knew her grandson very well. Grandma, to tell you the truth, Longao did not hide anything. He explained Yu Yin's situation in detail, including the attributes of the Ice and Fire Tablet and the Darkness Tablet, as well as the problem of her physique. Aoer, there's nothing wrong with your grandma. Mu Wanfeng smiled and summoned the Darkness Tablet from her body. Grandma, wait for me. Longao took the Darkness Tablet and left, returning to the Chaos Palace. Big brother Long, aren't you doing this a bit? Yuin felt very apologetic because she knew very well what Longao had just done. In order to help her, he had made her grandmother take out the Dark Chaos Stone Tablet. Even if she had swallowed the Dark Chaos Stone Tablet, she still felt apologetic. How could Longao not know what Yuin was thinking? He smiled and said, Yuin, you may not believe it, but I just sensed your grandma's physique. It's actually the rare Ice and Fire physique. In other words, the exchange of tablets between you and your grandma is perfect. If you swallow and refine the tablet, it'll be twice the result with half the effort. Regarding this point, Longao indeed did not expect it. He also did not expect his grandma's physique to be the rare Ice and Fire physique. If not, how could he have taken away his grandma's tablet so casually? Hearing this, Yuin breathed a sigh of relief. Without any hesitation, she immediately swallowed the Darkness Tablet. Just as Longao had guessed, the exchange of tablets between Mu Wanfeng and Yuin would indeed be twice the result with half the effort. If not for this, who knew what would have happened to Mu Wanfeng if the two of them had swallowed the tablet for a long time? However, Yuin would definitely not have had a good ending. Just thinking about it made him feel scared. For safety's sake, Longao prepared to gather everyone. Anyone who had obtained a tablet would check their tablet. Chapter 23:51. After spending an entire day, Longao finally finished inspecting the remaining 10 Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. He definitely couldn't let anything happen to anyone. As the saying goes, it's better to be safe than sorry. If something happened, he wouldn't even have the chance to regret it. Ever since he rejected Longao, the more Jian Wudi thought about it, the more he felt that something was amiss. Because from what he knew of Longao wasn't such a person. Why did Longao want him to swear a blood oath to serve the Soaring Dragon Empire forever? Could it be that Longao was really fishy? It was precisely because of this. Jian Wudi directly found Longao and asked straightforwardly, "Brother Long, I have something to ask you." In the courtyard, Longao sat quietly and said with a smile, "Brother Jian, please ask." How could Longao not know what Jian Wudi wanted to ask? However, Longao didn't point it out. He wanted to say something but hesitated. "Brother Jian, if you have something to say, just say it. With our relationship, there's no need to say anything." Jian Wudi was very embarrassed, but for himself, he finally said, "Brother Long, you looked for me before. I went back and thought about it. I'm willing to swear a blood oath and never deal with the soaring dragon empire. How about it?" As expected, without the slightest bit of surprise, Longao had already guessed that Jian Wudi came this time because of the previous matter. If Jian Wudi had agreed before, Longao would definitely have handed the Chaos Tablet to Jian Wudi. But now, Longao still treated Jian Wudi as a friend, but it was no longer a friend of life and death. Smiling helplessly, Longao said helplessly, "Brother Jian, if you had agreed before, now forget it, I won't say any more. But even if you agree now, this matter won't be on your head." The more Longao acted like this, the more Jian Wudi regretted it. Because he had already guessed that the matter Longao looked for him before was definitely a great thing. Such a rare opportunity, but he chose to give it up. It was impossible to say that he didn't regret it. "Brother Long, I would like to ask, what exactly is that matter?" This was what Jian Wudi wanted to know the most. Speak? Or not? If it had been anything else, Longao would have said it. But the primal chaos stone tablets were something he absolutely could not say. If word of this got out and Master God Diviner came looking for him, he would be in a lot of trouble. No matter what. Those who knew that he had obtained 12 Chaos Stone tablets were few and far between. As if he could guess what Longao was thinking, Jian Wudi swore a blood oath without hesitation. Longao was shocked, but he laughed inwardly. If he had known this would happen, why would he have rejected him and lost the chance to obtain the Primal Chaos Stone tablet? Since things had already come to this, Longao did not intend to continue hiding it. He told Jian Wudi about the Primal Chaos Stone tablets, but he did not tell Jian Wudi that he had obtained 12 Primal Chaos Stone tablet. Hearing Longao's words, Jian Wudi was completely dumbfounded. Primal Chaos Stone tablet, of course he knew what it meant. It was the most powerful weapon in the universe. Anyone who could devour a Primal Chaos Stone tablet and completely refine it could become a ruler of the universe. A ruler of the universe, an invincible existence in the vast universe. Even a peak universe immortal was like an ant in front of a ruler of the universe. Jian Wudi did not doubt it at all. Because other than this, he could not understand why Longao would make him swear a blood oath. Regret. He regretted it to the extreme. If he had chosen to swear a blood oath, he could have easily devoured the Primal Chaos Stone tablet and become a ruler of the universe in the future, standing at the peak of the universe. Now, Jian Wudi was so regretful that he could not speak. He wished he could kill himself. Such a rare opportunity, and he had given it up. Jian Wudi finally understood why Longao wanted him to swear a blood oath. In the end, it was because he was afraid that after he devoured the Primal Chaos Stone tablet and became a ruler of the universe, he would go against himself and the soaring dragon empire. But even so, if he could devour the Primal Chaos Stone tablet, he would not have chosen to swear a blood oath. Even if he chose to completely submit, he would not have even thought about it. "Brother Long, I regret it very much. I wonder if I have a chance to get another Primal Chaos Stone tablet?" Jian Wudi was almost certain that Longao did not get a single Primal Chaos Stone tablet. Otherwise, why would Longao let him devour a Primal Chaos Stone tablet and not keep it for himself or give it to his family? However, Jian Wudi did not care if Longao had multiple Primal Chaos Stone tablet. As long as he could get a single one, that was enough. Sigh. With a deep sigh, Longao helplessly shook his head and said, Brother Jian, I do not need to say more. You should know that it was you who chose to give up, and I chose Black Wind. Longao did not hide anything. Since he had already told Jian Wudi about the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, there was no need to hide who had obtained the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. Black Wind obtained the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet? Jian Wudi's heart was filled with resentment. However, after thinking about it, this matter was indeed his fault. He could not blame himself. Who asked him to give up on taking the blood oath? However, it was not entirely his fault. If he had to take the blood oath for no reason, forget himself, even if he were to find someone else, they would not agree to it. Yi Ji was an exception. Jian Wudi knew that Yi Ji had chosen to swear a blood oath to repay a debt of gratitude. Otherwise, as a starry sky immortal, Yi Ji would not have agreed. Could it be that Yi Ji also obtained a Primal Chaos Stone Tablet? As if he had guessed what Jian Wudi was thinking, Longao nodded and said, Brother Jian, your guess is correct. Back then, I obtained several Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. 2 of them were for you and Yi Ji. However, Longao did not finish speaking, but the meaning behind his words was very clear. Previously, Jian Wudi and Yi Ji could have swallowed the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, but in the end, only Yi Ji could have swallowed the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. Jian Wudi had given up the chance. Jian Wudi finally understood what had happened. He was helpless, resentful, and all sorts of complicated emotions. For a moment, Jian Wudi did not know what to do. This was because Longao had clearly stated that he could not continue swallowing the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. Even if he wanted to, it was impossible because the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet that originally belonged to him was given to Black Wind. Even so, Jian Wudi was not willing to give up. He still wanted to fight for it. If it were anything else, Jian Wudi would have given up. Only the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet was something he did not want to give up. Chapter 23:52. Brother Long, don't tell me I don't even have a chance? Longao wasn't angry at all. No matter what, Jian Wudi had chosen to give up, and as a friend, he had a clear conscience. He shrugged helplessly and said helplessly, Forgive me for not being able to do anything. Jian Wudi knew Longao's character very well. He was someone who would sacrifice himself for his friends. As long as there was a chance, he believed that Longao would be willing to help him. In the end, Jian Wudi chose to give up. He turned and left. Just as Jian Wudi left, Xiling's figure appeared. Longao, you told Jian Wudi about this. Aren't you afraid that something unexpected will happen? How could Longao not know about Xiling's worries? Longao was 100% confident about this. He believed that Jian Wudi had already sworn a blood oath. He definitely wouldn't tell anyone about this unless Jian Wudi chose to die together with him. I trust him. Since he had already said this, Xiling didn't continue to dwell on this issue. Xiling, why are you looking for me? Longao was very curious. He didn't know why Xiling wasn't in closed-door cultivation to refine the Chaos Stone Tablet. Why would he suddenly come looking for him? Longao, there's something I'm sorry about. What did this mean? Longao realized that Xiling was acting very strangely. As for what was wrong, he couldn't put his finger on it. Xiling, what's going on? Longao thought about it, but he couldn't think of anything. But he knew Xiling's personality very well. If it wasn't something, Xiling definitely wouldn't be like this. Could it be because of the Chaos Stone Tablet? It shouldn't be. What was going on? Xiling hesitated, but in the end he said, Longao, do you know who spread the news about the Chaos Stone Tablet? Che Yimin. Before Xiling finished speaking, Longao had already guessed that this matter had something to do with Che Yimin. It wasn't hard to guess. Che Yimin had not been able to obtain the Chaos Tablet, so she must have held a grudge in her heart. Even if news of the Chaos Tablet spread, it would be reasonable. Xiling nodded in agreement. As expected. Longao, I won't ask about Che Yimin's matter. You can deal with it on your own. There's no need to ask me. Xiling felt very guilty. Because of this matter, he had almost caused Longao and the soaring dragon empire to fall into eternal damnation. Fortunately, Longao had settled this matter. Otherwise, she wouldn't know what to do. You should settle it. Longao knew very well that no matter what, Che Yimin was still Xiling's disciple. If he were to deal with her personally, it wouldn't be right. The matter had already been settled, and Longao did not want to ruin the friendship between him and Xiling for a mere Che Yimin. Che Yimin was not worth it. I know what to do. Xiling's expression was very calm. He turned around and disappeared without a trace in the blink of an eye. With a heavy sigh, Longao looked at the void in front of him helplessly. This matter was indeed a little troublesome. Outside the soaring dragon realm, Che Yimin had spread the news of the Chaos Tablet. She didn't know if it was because she had a guilty conscience, but Che Yimin still felt that this matter was not good. If she continued to stay, her master and Longao would find out sooner or later. It would be a lie to say that she didn't have any regrets. Previously, she had leaked the Chaos Tablet in a moment of desperation. If it was now, Che Yimin would definitely not have done so. Until now, Che Yimin was a little regretful. If she could have immediately made a blood oath, then the Chaos Tablet would definitely have been hers. There was no doubt about it. In the end, it was still her fault. Just as Che Yimin was about to leave, Xiling's figure suddenly appeared and stopped her. Master? Looking at her master who had suddenly appeared in front of her, Che Yimin was completely shocked. Because she had already guessed that this would be the result. However, when she saw her master in person, she was still a little shocked to the extreme. Guilty conscience. Che Yimin was very clear about the consequences if her matter was leaked. Even if her master was willing to forgive her, it didn't mean that Longao would forgive her. However, it was because of her leak of the news that Longao and the soaring dragon empire were almost destroyed. Yimin, are you preparing to leave? Master, waving his hand, Xiling stopped Che Yimin from speaking. He sighed and said, Longao and I gave you a chance. It was you who didn't grasp it. Instead, you resented Longao. You have really disappointed me. Even if you didn't get the Chaos Tablet, your future achievements can definitely reach the limit of Starry Sky Immortal Realm with the Empire. At this point, Xiling didn't continue speaking. However, the meaning of his words was very clear. Not to mention that she had Xiling's help. Just because of the soaring dragon empire, no one would dare to touch Che Yimin. However, it was a little too late to talk about this now. Master, actually, this is all your fault. If you had told me earlier that I could get the Chaos Tablet, I would have definitely agreed without hesitation. Master, you just had to play games with me and make me lose the chance to devour the Chaos Tablet. If it was in the past, Che Yimin wouldn't have dared to do this even if she had 10,000 guts. However, she didn't know if it was because she didn't devour the Chaos Tablet, but Che Yimin had completely gone crazy. She didn't care who this so-called master in front of her was. Xiling wasn't angry at all. He only nodded regretfully, but more than that, he was disappointed. If Che Yimin was repentant, perhaps he would have given Che Yimin a chance. This was because Xiling knew very well that as long as he asked, Longao would definitely give him face. But now, Xiling had chosen to give up. However, it was a little difficult for him to do it personally. This was because from the beginning, he was prepared to nurture Che Yimin properly. Otherwise, he wouldn't have gone to Longao to ask for the Chaos Tablet for Che Yimin. It was just that Che Yimin didn't take advantage of it in the end. At this moment, Longao's figure appeared. Xiling, I will respect your choice. It was still the same words. Longao wouldn't create a rift between him and Xiling for a traitor like Che Yimin. In the end, Che Yimin didn't have the right to do so. And, since you know what I'm thinking, why ask so much? Che Yimin obviously knew what the two of them meant. It seemed like she was dead for sure this time. Was it worth it for a Chaos Tablet? definitely not. If she had devoured the Chaos Tablet, then she would have died. But now, she hadn't even seen what the Chaos Tablet looked like. The more Che-Yimin thought about it, the angrier she became. She didn't blame herself anymore. Instead, she blamed everything on the two of them. Che-Yimin, do you know your mistake? What did Longao mean by this? Chapter 23:53. Che-Yimin was very curious. She didn't know what Longao meant by this. From Che-Yimin's point of view, Longao and her master definitely wouldn't let her go. You don't know your wrongs. Hearing this, Longao's face became more and more gloomy and ugly. Master Long, I respect you very much. All these years, I've never respected anyone, including my master. Xiling didn't say anything. Longao didn't say anything either. Master Long, it wasn't that I didn't want to take the blood oath. It was because I didn't want to be bound. I hope you and my master can give me a chance. Let me devour the primal Chaos Tablet. I can take the blood oath and serve you for all eternity. He found an excuse for his shamelessness. Xiling couldn't listen any longer. He turned and left. He forcefully stopped Che-Yimin. Go. Before Che-Yimin could react, Longao lightly swiped at her. As a citizen of Soaring Dragon Empire, Che-Yimin wasn't as ignorant as before. She knew what Longao's move meant. Shattering space. In front of a space crack, she couldn't resist at all. Che-Yimin didn't even finish her sentence before she was submerged in the terrifying space crack. She disappeared without a trace. With Longao's current powerful strength, wanting to destroy Che-Yimin was simply a matter of minutes. On a lone peak, Xiling sighed, but more than that, she felt helpless. She had high hopes for Che-Yimin. Even if she couldn't devour the primal Chaos Tablet and become a ruler of space, with her help, she could definitely become a peak space immortal. She could be considered to be standing at the peak of the martial path. Done? Longao, who had suddenly descended, looked at Xiling, who was standing against the wind, and sighed deeply in his heart. Longao, from Yimin's matter, I deeply understood a principle. No matter how strong a person's talent is, it's all nonsense. Character is too important. Of course, Longao knew what Xiling meant. He didn't say anything because he didn't know what to say at this moment. Longao, because Che-Yimin revealed the matter of the primal Chaos Stone Tablet, although you can hide it for a while, you can't hide it forever. He nodded in agreement. Thinking of this, Longao's expression turned serious. This matter could not be hidden forever. Right now, there was only one thing to consider, and that was to think of a way. If news of the primal Chaos Stone Tablet leaked out, how should he deal with it? The other rulers of the starry sky were able to deal with them, but Master God Diviner wasn't. But you have to know. The primal Chaos Tablet that Master God Diviner possessed was a high-grade primal Chaos Tablet. Even if Master God Diviner couldn't truly control the power within the primal Chaos Tablet, it would be very difficult for him to deal with Master God Diviner. Seeing that Longao wasn't speaking, Xiling said, Longao, the most important thing right now is for anyone who obtains a primal Chaos Tablet to refine it. As long as someone in our empire becomes a ruler of space, then we'll be safe. How could Longao not know this? Although the 12 of them had already successfully swallowed the primal Chaos Tablet, to refine it and become a ruler of space wasn't an easy task. He let out a deep sigh. Xiling, of the 12 of us, including you and Longchong, there are 14 primal Chaos Tablet. You have the highest chance of becoming a ruler of space, and the fastest. This was Xiling's second time refining a primal Chaos Tablet. It was completely different from the others. If one were to ask who would be the fastest to refine a primal Chaos Tablet and become a ruler of space, it would be Xiling, without question. If Xiling could become a ruler of space and take over the Soaring Dragon Empire, not to mention the others, even Master God Diviner would have to be wary of him. He wouldn't dare act rashly against the Soaring Dragon Empire. Although Master God Diviner possessed a high-grade primal chaos tablet, he hadn't truly mastered the power within it. In this way, whether it was a low-grade primal chaos tablet, a mid-grade primal chaos tablet, or a high-grade primal chaos tablet, as long as one didn't fully master the power within the primal chaos tablet, there wouldn't be much of a difference in power. If there was a huge difference, some rulers of space would have been destroyed long ago. Long Chong, I know what you mean. But perhaps you don't know this, but to refine a primal chaos tablet a second time is a bit difficult. Although it's faster than the others, it's not that much faster. Without waiting for Long Chong to speak, Xiling continued, Long Chong, I know what you're worried about. You can borrow the power of your non-elemental primal chaos tablet to help us. What does that mean? Long Chong was very curious. He didn't know what Xiling meant. Long Chong, the non-elemental primal chaos tablet you possess is most likely a high-grade primal chaos tablet, and it has great power. Previously, when I entered your primal chaos palace, I could clearly sense that when I cultivated near the non-elemental primal chaos tablet, the speed of refining the sword intent tablet increased by 3 times. Long Chong finally understood what Xiling meant. He knew very well what it meant to increase the speed of refining a primal chaos tablet by 3 times. In other words, before, Xiling had needed 300 years to refine a primal chaos tablet, but if he cultivated near his non-elemental primal chaos tablet, he would only need 100 years. What kind of concept was that? Long Chong, I believe you understand what I mean. Nodding, Long Chong said, if that's the case, then that's for the best. But Xiling, perhaps you don't know this, but my primal chaos palace has a limit. I can't truly control it, so no matter who it is, they can't stay in there for more than 3 months. If they exceed that time, they'll be attacked by the primal chaos palace, and no one can stop them. This was what Longao was most afraid of. Until now, he still had not figured out how to avoid this. If everyone could enter the primal chaos palace, he would be able to ignore everyone, including Master God Diviner and all the other rulers of the starry sky. Long Chong was very confident in his primal chaos palace. Not to mention others, even Master God Diviner couldn't lock onto his primal chaos palace. Unfortunately, he still couldn't control the primal chaos palace. It was a very depressing matter. Xiling smiled and said confidently, Long Chong, I've already thought about this. Although no one can stay in your primal chaos palace for more than 3 months, they can leave within 3 months and enter again a day later. This way, everyone can stay in the primal chaos palace for a long time. Long Chong instantly understood what Xiling meant. If that was really the case, then it was indeed a super good idea. Chapter 23:54. Everyone entered the Chaos Palace. Longao didn't hide anything and told everyone his thoughts. Just like that, 14 people, including Long Chong and Xiling, entered the Chaos Palace. They sat around the neutral Chaos Tablet and began to cultivate in seclusion. Longao's only hope was that one of the 14 people would be able to refine the primal Chaos Tablet and become the ruler of space. The 3 eagles, Lin Han and Wang Tao, were urging Longao to make a move. Whether it was the number 1 or number 2 empire, they all hoped to destroy each other and dominate the universe. Everyone knew that even if the 12 rulers of the universe returned, they wouldn't interfere with the universe's affairs. This was something everyone knew. Back then, the 12 rulers of the universe didn't interfere with the universe's affairs either. In the eyes of ordinary people, the rulers of the universe were lofty existences. How could they casually interfere? Longao naturally hoped to see both sides suffer so he could reap the benefit. However, Longao also knew that this had to be done flawlessly. If the 2 sides found out, he would be in big trouble. Perhaps the 2 empires would even join forces with other empires to deal with him. Just as Longao was about to make a move, Xian Tong suddenly appeared. As the indestructible tyrant body ruler of the universe, Xian Tong should be in seclusion to refine the Chaos Tablet and strive to become the ruler of the universe as soon as possible. Longao was very surprised. He didn't know why Xian Tong had suddenly appeared. Despite the previous incident, Longao still treated Xian Tong as a friend. "Why are you here? Why are you looking for me?" Xian Tong felt very guilty and said embarrassedly, "Longao, I was wrong before. I hope you can forgive me." If others saw that the indestructible tyrant body ruler of the universe was treating Longao like this, who knew what they would think? It was simply unimaginable. However, Longao's expression was as if it was only natural. Longao waved his hand nonchalantly and said with a smile, "Xian Tong, you and I are friends. I have already forgotten about what happened before. Don't mind it." Upon hearing Longao's words, Xian Tong smiled. "Longao, the reason I came to find you this time is because there is a very important matter." "What is it?" Longao knew Xian Tong's character very well. If it wasn't for an important matter, he believed that Xian Tong wouldn't have come to find him so easily. Longao became more and more curious. He also wanted to know why Xian Tong had come looking for him this time. Xian Tong's expression instantly turned solemn. "Longao, in the past, 12 Chaos Stone Steels appeared in the vast universe, and the 12 of us obtained them at the same time. I believe you should already know about this." He nodded. Not to mention him, he believed that everyone in the vast starry sky was very clear about this matter. Could it be that the matter of Xian Tong coming to find me this time is related to the 12 Chaos Stone Tablets? As expected. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Back then, I was lucky enough to obtain the Undying Tyrant Body Chaos Stone Tablet, and I was lucky enough to successfully refine it and become the ruler of the universe. Longao didn't speak. He just listened quietly. Even now, Longao still didn't know what Xian Tong wanted to say. Sigh. With a deep sigh, Xian Tong continued, "Back then, my luck was just too good. The place where the 12 Chaos Stone Tablets appeared was where I was cultivating in seclusion. This was also the main reason why I was able to devour the Undying Tyrant Body Chaos Stone Tablet." Hearing Xian Tong's words, Longao was completely stunned. Because he never would have thought of this. If Xian Tong's strength and luck were strong enough, then not to mention obtaining 1 Chaos Stone Tablet, even obtaining all 12 wouldn't be a problem. Longao knew very well that Xian Tong had only obtained 1 Chaos Stone Tablet because of luck. "Xian Tong, what do you mean?" Longao knew that this matter could be big or small. If this matter was leaked, it would definitely shake the entire universe. At that time, both he and Xian Tong would be in big trouble. "Longao, besides me, no one else knows about this. After so many years, I haven't told anyone else about this." "Then why are you telling me?" Longao was very curious. He didn't know why Xian Tong didn't tell anyone else, but chose him. "Longao, to be honest, after so many years, I've been to that mysterious place at least a dozen times. Every time, I couldn't even take half a step. I don't trust anyone except you. You don't need to ask why. This is just my intuition. My intuition tells me that you're worthy of my trust." Longao didn't have the slightest doubt. If it were anyone else, they would definitely be suspicious. But Longao's situation was completely different. Because he knew very well that for Xian Tong to tell him this, it meant that he wasn't lying to him. He really couldn't think of a reason why Xian Tong would lie to him. "That's why I want to try again this time. I'd like to invite you to come with me. Longao, I won't lie to you. I've always had a feeling that since 12 Primal Chaos Stone Tablets could appear in that mysterious place, there might be even more Primal Chaos Stone Tablets inside. If you and I can obtain them, we can split them equally. That way, the vast universe will be ours in the future. How about it?" One had to admit that Xian Tong's ambition was extremely great. Longao finally understood Xian Tong's intentions. He couldn't refuse such a good thing because he knew very well what it meant to obtain more Chaos Stone Tablet. That's not a problem. But this matter must be kept a secret. It can't be leaked. I understand. We'll leave in 3 days. I still have some things to take care of. Of course, Xian Tong wouldn't have any problems. Because of the sudden appearance of this matter, Longao was prepared to put aside the matter of the First and Second Cosmic Empires. When the First and Second Cosmic Empires received the news at the same time, they were very curious. They didn't know what Longao meant. Why would he give up temporarily for no reason? Could it be that something unexpected had happened? The First and Second Cosmic Empires didn't know that Longao was using them. It was because of this that Longao boldly chose to leave. Not only that, but he also summoned everyone from the Chaos Palace. Because he didn't know what would happen this time, if something unexpected happened, it wouldn't be a complete wipeout. So no matter who asked Longao, the answer was no comment. Everyone was very clear about Longao's character and didn't continue asking. Chapter 23:55. Xian Tong, what is this mysterious place you speak of? Longao also knew that the place the God Diviner was guarding was a mysterious place in the primal chaos. The place the God Diviner was guarding was the outer sea of the Martial Heaven continent. That was why the God Diviner was so stubbornly guarding a middle-tier plane. Come with me. Longao and Xian Tong were extremely fast. Even without using a teleportation formation, they weren't something ordinary people could compare to. Roughly a few hours later, Longao and Xian Tong arrived at a desolate place. There wasn't a single plane around them. It was very strange. Xian Tong, this is the place you spoke of? Yes, it's here. Longao was startled. The reason for that was because before him was a black steel. It was extremely large, and from a glance it was very shocking. Longao, go ahead. Don't approach it. Not only is the seal powerful, but it also has the power to counterattack. If I hadn't refined the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet and become the ruler of the starry sky, I would have been annihilated by it. He nodded. There was no need for Xian Tong to say anything. Longao already knew. Although this black tablet wasn't a Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, it was still very powerful. Even he could sense its terrifying power. If he approached it, he would definitely be annihilated. There was no doubt about it. Longao looked. Without waiting for Longao to speak, the black stone tablet in front of him had already slowly disappeared. What was going on? Xian Tong, what's going on? The black tablet is like this. I don't know why either. Longao tried to sense the empty space in front of him to see if he could break the seal here. This was because he knew very well that if he could break the seal and obtain the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet inside, his power would become stronger and stronger. According to Xian Tong, the spring in front of him was the 12 Primal Chaos Stone Tablets that had appeared. If that was the case, then perhaps there were other Primal Chaos Stone Tablets inside. Although the chances were small, Longao wanted to try. It was still the same sentence. The temptation of the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet was simply too great. Even Longao was unable to resist it. In the end, Longao was simply unable to break the seal, because every time his aura approached, he would be countered by an extremely terrifying force. This power was so frightening that Longao had a feeling that even the Starry Sky ruler wouldn't be able to resist it. If that wasn't the case, why was Xian Tong unable to break the seal when he became the ruler of the Starry Skies? If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he would have found it hard to believe. There was actually such a place in the vast starry sky. Longao, I believe that you have also sensed the seal here. Do you have any ideas? It would be a lie to say that he didn't have any selfish motives. The other 11 people were all Starry Sky rulers. If he had brought these Starry Sky rulers with him, it would have been hard to say if he would have been able to split the primal chaos tablets evenly. That was especially true when working with Master God Diviner. If he didn't, he wouldn't know when he would be consigned to eternal damnation. As for Longao, first, he truly treated Longao as a friend. This was because he was well aware of Longao's character. Although he was vicious and murderous, Longao was very kind to his friends. Second, although Longao's talent was great, he hadn't obtained a primal chaos tablet. In the end, he wasn't a starry sky ruler. This way, even if there were any variables in the future, he could still control them. However, what Xian Tong didn't know was that Longao had already devoured a primal chaos tablet. If Xian Tong found out, it was unknown whether he would reveal this secret. If it had been anything else, it wouldn't have mattered. However, this was the case. Longao looked at everything in front of him with a grave expression. He had just used his elemental primal chaos tablet, but had also been unable to break the seal. In this case, neither he nor Xian Tong could do anything. Xian Tong, I have something that I don't know if I should say. Please speak. Longao thought for a moment, then finally said, Xian Tong, I know what you mean. You don't want to reveal this to anyone. However, have you considered that even if we keep this secret, if we can't break the seal, it will be for nothing? Xian Tong didn't speak, because he understood Longao's meaning. Even so, Xian Tong was still a little unwilling. He was the one who had discovered this place first, but now he had to reveal it. It was a pain in the ass. However, Xian Tong wasn't a stubborn old man. Of course he knew what Longao's words meant. If that was really the case, the two of them would continue to guard this place. He had no objections. Longao, are you saying that I should gather all the starry sky rulers? That's right. We should gather everyone's strength. However, before that, we can have the oracle swear a blood oath. That way we can resolve our worries. Longao knew what Xian Tong was worried about. If that was really the case, then the only way was to have all the starry sky rulers, especially the oracle, swear a blood oath. That way, both he and Xian Tong would be able to sit back and relax. Since things had already come to this, Xian Tong didn't know what to do. Agree? Or not? If he agreed, he was a little unwilling. If he didn't agree, then it would be as Longao said. There was no point in the two of them keeping this secret. It was better to gather all the starry sky rulers and see if anyone could break the seal. If there really were chaos tablets inside, then they could divide them equally. Even if they couldn't monopolize the chaos tablets, they could at least get 1/12. No, 1/13. Right now, Xian Tong had already raised Longao's position to the same as the other starry sky rulers, or even higher. This was because he knew Longao's talent and potential very well. If Longao could devour the chaos tablets, then there was no doubt that Longao would become even stronger in the future. Longao didn't urge him because he knew Xian Tong's dilemma. No matter what, it was Xian Tong who had discovered this mysterious spring. He didn't have the right to decide. However, Longao had already decided that no matter what Xian Tong decided to do, he would support him unconditionally. For a moment, the surroundings fell silent. Xian Tong didn't say anything. Longao didn't say anything either. Time passed little by little. After an indeterminate amount of time, Xian Tong suddenly raised his head and looked at Longao. He nodded heavily and said, Longao, you're right. There's no need for us to keep this secret. I agree. Chapter 2356. The Martial Heaven Continent. In the outer sea, within the Crystal Palace, Master God Diviner was truly surprised by Longao and Xian Tong's sudden arrival. Even the marvelous mathematician did not expect that Longao and Xian Tong would walk together and come to his own plane together. However, if he hadn't agreed, neither Longao nor Xian Tong would have been able to take half a step into the Martial Heaven Continent. What business do the two of you have with me? Master God Diviner smiled. However, the two of them were extremely wary of Master God Diviner. No matter what, in the entire starry sky, he was the only one who had regained his position as the ruler of the starry sky. Longao, why don't you tell me? Master God Diviner nodded. Longao didn't stand on ceremony. Senior Master God Diviner, before that, I hope you can swear a blood oath. I don't understand what you mean. Instead of getting angry, he smiled. Master God Diviner didn't know what Longao meant, but he knew Longao's character. If it wasn't something important, Master God Diviner wouldn't act so rashly. Senior Master God Diviner, this is extremely important. As long as you swear a blood oath that you won't divulge this matter to anyone else, and that you won't do anything to me or Xian Tong, I'll tell you. All right? Master God Diviner was a straightforward person. He immediately swore a blood oath. Blood oaths had restrictions on everyone. Even the ruler of the starry sky was no exception. All right, I've already swore a blood oath. Now I want to know what it is that you want me to swear a blood oath. Master God Diviner was very curious. In fact, he was extremely curious. What was it that Longao had come to talk about that was so strange and mysterious? Since things had already come to this, Longao did not hide anything. He recounted everything that had happened previously in full detail. Master God Diviner's expression grew darker and darker. He hadn't expected Xian Tong to be hiding something from him. If he had known earlier, he wouldn't have had to wait so many years. However, he had already sworn a blood oath. No matter how angry he was, he couldn't do anything to Xian Tong. Master God Diviner now knew why Longao had made him swear a blood oath. Xian Tong, I won't blame you for this. Was that really the case? Xian Tong was no fool. He knew that if it weren't for the blood oath, Master God Diviner would have long since killed him. Even if he hadn't succeeded, he would have been sent back into the cycle of reincarnation. Tell the clairvoyant master, is it right or wrong? However, since things had already come to this, Xian Tong did not continue to harp on it. Master God Diviner, Yang Qi said, the reason we've come to find you is because we want to join forces with others to explore this place. He nodded. Master God Diviner had already regained his composure. As for whether or not he was hiding a dagger behind his smile, no one knew. I believe the two of you have already guessed that the spring of primal chaos discovered by Xian Tong and the spring of primal chaos here should be the same type of place. Longao and Xian Tong both nodded in agreement. Others might not know, but Longao and Xian Tong were very clear. The reason why the God Diviner hadn't left the martial heaven continent for so many years was because of this primal chaos spring. According to the God Diviner's calculations, the primal chaos spring he was guarding was very likely to allow them to truly grasp the power of the primal chaos tablet. That way they might be able to enter a brand new world. This was also why the rulers of the starry sky had been willing to sacrifice themselves to enter the samsara path. They had wanted to enter this primal chaos spring and find the secret of controlling the primal chaos tablet. 2 primal chaos springs. The God Diviner didn't hesitate. He immediately gathered all the rulers of the starry sky, including Long Chong and Xiling. It didn't matter if they were Longao's people or not, they were still rulers of the starry sky. As long as they devoured the primal chaos tablets, any ruler of the starry sky would be able to participate. In less than a day, all 12 rulers of the starry sky had gathered, including Longao. When the God Diviner told them this secret, none of them, including Xiling, were as excited as they had imagined. Instead, their expressions were grave. They had all guessed that the primal chaos spring Xian Tong was talking about was exactly the same as the one the God Diviner was looking for. If that was the case, so what if they found the primal chaos spring? Was he going to repeat the same mistake? The memories of the past were still fresh in everyone's minds. It was also because of their greed that those who were lucky could enter the cycle of reincarnation and be reborn. Although it would take a little longer, those who were unlucky would fall forever. The elemental astral ruler and the dark astral ruler were the best examples. At this moment, Luomu stood up and said, "Master God Diviner, we have no interest in this matter. We only have one mission right now, and that is to refine the Primal Chaos Tablet as quickly as possible. Anything else is just nonsense to us. Goodbye." It wasn't just Luomu. Everyone else stood up and said their goodbyes. Only Longao, Xiantong, Longchang, and Xiling remained. Longchang and Xiling were undoubtedly Longao's men. If Longao didn't leave, the two of them definitely wouldn't leave. However, Longao sent them a spiritual message. Xiling and Longchang had no choice. Whether it was Xiling or Longchang, they quickly left. Longao, as you can see, although the Primal Chaos Spring can help me find the power to control the Primal Chaos Tablet, I'm confident that there are other Primal Chaos Tablets within it. As long as we can enter them, the divine mathematician didn't continue to speak until here. However, the meaning of his words was already very clear. Longao and Xiantong weren't fools. Both of them naturally understood the meaning of the divine mathematician. No one could resist such a temptation. Even those who had just left wouldn't easily choose to leave if they had the chance. Otherwise, they wouldn't have chosen to die and enter the cycle of reincarnation for the sake of the Primal Chaos Spring. However, the biggest problem now was that whether it was the Primal Chaos Spring of the Martial Heaven continent or the Primal Chaos Spring that Xiantong had found, they couldn't enter it. Even the 12 rulers of the starry sky hadn't been able to do it. It was precisely because of this that all the rulers of the starry sky had chosen to leave. Back then, they hadn't had the chance to enter the Primal Chaos Spring. Now that they hadn't refined the Primal Chaos Tablet and become a ruler of the starry sky, there was even less of a chance to enter it. Rather than wasting time, it was better to refine the Primal Chaos Tablet and become a ruler of the starry sky. The three of them were very clear on this point. This was also why they were helpless. Chapter 23:57. Xiantong, you've seen the current situation. All I need to do is guard my spring of primal chaos. As for the spring of primal chaos you discovered, I have no interest in it. What did that mean? Xiantong was no fool. Of course, he knew what Master Godly Mathematician meant. Everyone returned to their own homes. Since things had already come to this, Xiantong did not stay. After saying goodbye, Xiantong stood up and left. Senior Master Godly Mathematician, I'll also take my leave. Longao, I know what you mean. I hope you'll help me well. I won't treat you unfairly. I understand. Master Godly Mathematician's expression turned cold as he watched Yi Futian's figure disappear. You dare to negotiate with me? I'll let you know the price later. Yi Gudu, who had returned, asked curiously, Father, why didn't we kill Xiantong? Longao was a variable. Could Xiantong be a variable as well? That was why Yi Gudu was very curious. He did not know what was going on with his father. Yi Gudu was well aware of his father's strength. Even at his peak, Xiantong might not have been his father's match, let alone the current Xiantong. What did that mean? He could not figure it out. Master Godly Mathematician shook his head and said, I'm almost certain that the place Xiantong spoke of and the spring of primal chaos I'm guarding are the same place. Therefore, whether I kill Xiantong or not doesn't matter. Yi Dugu knew that from the beginning to the end, his father had never put Xiantong in his eyes. However, Yi Gudu still did not know what his father meant. Dudu, do you still not understand? Whether it's the spring of primal chaos I'm guarding or the spring of primal chaos Xiantong found, they must have come from the same place. In that case, it doesn't matter whether we find this place or not. Back then, the 12 of US joined forces and still could not break the seal. Master Godly Mathematician did not take Xian Tong seriously at all. Even if all the other rulers of the stars joined forces, they would not be able to break the seal of the spring of primal chaos. Master Godly Mathematician was very confident in this. However, Yi Gudu's expression was very serious. "Father, I'm not worried about Xian Tong." Not to mention the Godly Mathematician, even Yi Gudu did not place Xian Tong in his eyes. "Dugu, what do you mean?" "Father, you've already deduced that Longao is a variable. So, Father, have you ever thought that if this is really the case, with Longao's help, I wonder if Xian Tong will open the seal?" Hearing Yi Gudu's words, the divine mathematician stopped talking. His expression was very solemn. He knew very well what his son meant by his words. If it had been anyone else, Master God Diviner wouldn't have cared. Except for Longao. He had already faintly deduced that Longao was a variable that could very well affect his development. "Father, what should we do now?" "You're right. I know what to do now." Seeing that his father was unwilling to say more, Yi Dugu did not continue to ask. After Xian Tong and Longao left the martial heaven continent, Xian Tong sighed in relief. It felt like he had just walked through the gates of hell. This time, he had been blind. He had thought that all the rulers of the stars of primal chaos, including Master God Diviner, would help him break the seal. He had never imagined that no one would be interested. "Longao, we made a mistake this time," said Yi Gudu. Longao nodded. He also hadn't thought that things would reach this point. If he had known, he wouldn't have come. A mistake. A miscalculation. He felt very helpless, but it had already happened. It was too late to say anything now. Longao thought about it and said, "Xian Tong, this matter is a bit troublesome." "What is it?" "If it were anyone else, I'm sure you wouldn't be in any trouble. But I'm the only one working with you. Master God Diviner definitely won't let you off so easily. You should be careful. Otherwise, you should follow me. Otherwise," speaking up to here, Longao did not continue speaking, but the meaning in his words was already very clear. The more Longao acted like this, the more curious Xian Tong became. He didn't know what was going on. Why would Master God Diviner target him if he joined hands with Longao? Was there some sort of enmity between the Longao and Master God Diviner? "Longao, what are you trying to say?" "Xian Tong, to tell you the truth, Master God Diviner has calculated that I'm a variable. Although I don't know if it's true, Master God Diviner is afraid that I can help you break the seal." So that's what it was. Xian Tong understood what Longao was trying to say. If that was the case, then this matter would truly be troublesome. Xian Tong's expression became extremely grave. It would be a lie to say that he wasn't afraid of Master God Diviner. If he was in his peak state, he might be able to fight against Master God Diviner. But now, he could only passively take a beating. Seeing that Xian Tong didn't speak, Longao naturally knew what Xian Tong was worried about. "Xian Tong, as long as we don't touch the primal chaos source and you follow me, I believe Master God Diviner won't attack you. I'm very confident about this." Since things had already come to this, even if Xian Tong didn't want to agree, he could only nod in tacit agreement. He knew very well that if this matter was really as Longao said, then it would indeed be troublesome. It hadn't been easy for him to start refining the primal chaos tablet in peace. If Master God Diviner tried to stop him, then not only would he not be able to refine the primal chaos tablet, but he would also be sent back into the reincarnation path. This was the last thing Xian Tong wanted to see. Because of this, Xian Tong finally decided to follow Longao in the future. At the very least, he would have to wait until he refined the primal chaos tablet and became a starry sky ruler. Longao took Xian Tong back to the soaring dragon realm. However, he didn't mention a word about the primal chaos palace and the 12 primal chaos tablet. After what happened last time, Longao more or less felt a little estranged in his heart. Now that he treated Xian Tong as a friend, he was already very magnanimous. If it were anyone else, it would be strange if he didn't hit them while they were down. Longao didn't even arrange a place for Xian Tong to live in the headquarters. Instead, he arranged a very beautiful place in the soaring dragon realm. As for what this meant, Longao didn't say, so no one knew. Xian Tong definitely felt very uncomfortable in his heart. However, he knew very well that the current situation was very unfavorable for him. If he rashly left, it would be very disadvantageous for him. Xian Tong had already guessed that Longao must have some estrangement from what happened last time. This was because when he came last time, nothing like this had happened. Xian Tong didn't blame Longao in the slightest because he knew that he was to blame for this. He wasn't a good friend. Even Longao despised him. Chapter 23:58. Longao, aren't you afraid of provoking the God Diviner's displeasure? As soon as Longao returned, Xiling asked worriedly. Xiling was extremely clear on what this meant. The Primal Chaos Tablet and the Primal Chaos Spring were forbidden to the God Diviner. Anyone who dared to touch them could imagine the consequences. Xiling couldn't understand why Longao would do such a thing. Could it be that Longao no longer feared the God Diviner? How could Longao not know what Xiling was thinking? Xiling, I was too rash this time. I've already guessed what the God Diviner is thinking. What do you mean? Longao thought for a moment. The God Diviner definitely thinks that the two Primal Chaos Springs are the same. All he needs to do is guard the Martial Heaven continent. As for the other Primal Chaos Spring, the God Diviner isn't worried in the slightest. So that was the case. Even so, Xiling was still worried. No one knew what the God Diviner would do. If the God Diviner decided to act against Longao and the Soaring Dragon Empire because of this, the gains wouldn't make up for the losses. However, Xiling, I know what you're worried about. However, I can guarantee that the God Diviner won't act against me. Ah? Xiling was shocked by Longao's words. She couldn't understand why Longao was so confident. He had nothing to fear. Xiling didn't have the slightest doubt. She was extremely clear on Longao's character. If he wasn't absolutely certain, he wouldn't say such a thing. Although Xiling was curious, she didn't ask. She knew that if Longao wanted to say something, she wouldn't even need to ask. Longao would tell her. If Longao didn't want to say anything, then asking would be pointless. Longao, what are you planning to do next? That was the key. Longao thought for a moment and said, I'm going to think of a way to see if I can break the seal and enter the spring of primal chaos. My intuition tells me that the spring of primal chaos definitely has something we want. Xiling was shocked again. What was wrong with Longao this time? Why was he so reckless time and time again? This was not like Longao's character. He was too reckless. Xiling knew what this meant. This was because no one knew what Master God Diviner was thinking. If they kept pushing Master God Diviner's bottom line, who knew if Master God Diviner would take action? Longao, you're too reckless. Longao knew what Xiling was worried about. Master God Diviner was simply too powerful, and could be considered the number one figure in the starry sky. Provoking him was like provoking the god of death. Still, Longao said firmly, I have made up my mind. Xiling, you should refine the Chaos Tablet and become a ruler of space. Xiling shrugged helplessly. Since Longao had already said so, there was no point for her to continue. At the peak of the mountain, Longao gazed into the endless void in the distance. The one who had come was none other than the number one figure in the starry sky, Master God Diviner, also known as the ruler of the starry sky. It seems you already knew I would come, Master God Diviner said with a smile. Longao nodded and said, I believe you know better than I do what the spring of primal chaos means. Master God Diviner, since things have come to this point, there is no need for us to continue beating around the bush. I would like to know why you are doing this." Before God Diviner could speak, Longao continued to say, "I don't believe that I am the so-called variable. I don't believe that I can help you enter the source of chaos. Senior God Diviner, please tell me what the real reason is." Master God Diviner had always said that, but Longao had never believed him. As for whether or not the others believed him, he didn't know. Longao hadn't planned on telling Master God Diviner the truth. After all, the situation wasn't in his favor. But now that the spring of primal chaos had appeared, Longao decided to tell him the truth. He was confident that Master God Diviner wouldn't casually attack him. Otherwise, Master God Diviner would have had plenty of opportunities to kill him. The fact that Master God Diviner hadn't made a move until now spoke volumes. Master God Diviner didn't seem surprised. He seemed to have guessed the answer. "Longao, do you really want to know?" He nodded. Longao was curious, and he didn't know why Master God Diviner hadn't attacked him. He knew one thing for sure, and that was that Master God Diviner hadn't done anything to him because he was the variable. No one would believe that. "Longao, do you know about the Chaos Tablet? Please tell me." Longao was very curious. He didn't know what Master God Diviner meant by this. Of course he knew about the Chaos Tablet. It was also a 12-sided Chaos Tablet. No, it was a 24-sided Chaos Tablet. Other than his non-elemental Chaos Tablet, it was the only high-grade Chaos Tablet he had. Could it be that his own matters were related to the Chaos Tablet? Among the 12 Chaos Stone Tablets, only my Divine Divination Stone Tablet is a high-grade Chaos Stone Tablet. After so many years, I have discovered a problem. Unless I can truly control the power within the Chaos Stone Tablet, the grade of the Chaos Stone Tablet is meaningless to me, or to anyone else. Longao didn't say anything. He just listened quietly. He still didn't know what Master God Diviner meant by this. "Back on the Martial Heaven continent, when you obtained the 5-element Chaos Tablet, I began to pay attention to you. I've been trying to divine your fate for so many years, but I haven't been able to figure it out. However, I can be sure of one thing. You are a variable. Your fate has already been decided, and even I can't change it." Fate? Longao still didn't quite believe in fate. However, he didn't say anything. He knew that Master God Diviner wasn't finished. "Lu Shui, I've been observing you for so many years, and I've discovered a problem. No matter what kind of danger you face, you can always turn it into safety. I'm almost certain that your life is very tough. Let alone others, even rulers of the starry sky like us might not be able to kill you. Senior Master God Diviner, why don't we get straight to the point?" Longao didn't want to hear this. If that was the case, why would he even bother asking Master God Diviner? Wouldn't he just be bored? Master God Diviner understood what Longao was thinking. "Thinking about it," he said. "Longao, since you want to know, come with me." Master God Diviner vanished, but Longao didn't hesitate at all. No matter what, he had to get to the bottom of this and see what Master God Diviner was trying to say. Longao's figure also disappeared in an instant. The two of them were extremely fast. In a short while, the two of them had already arrived at the Sky Martial continent and entered the Scarlet Fire Town, which was the place where Longao was born. Chapter 2359. What did Master God Diviner mean? Longao didn't know why Master God Diviner had brought him to Scarlet Fire Town. Longao had too many feelings for Scarlet Fire Town. It was where he'd been born, where he'd encountered the Dragon Seal, the Primal Chaos Seal. "Longao, do you know where Scarlet Fire Town used to be?" "I don't." Longao truly didn't know the history of Scarlet Fire Town. Even the older generation didn't know the history of Scarlet Fire Town, to say nothing of himself. This was something everyone in Scarlet Fire Town was very curious about. A town with no history was a bit strange. When I first obtained the Primal Chaos Tablet, it only took me a few decades to refine it and become the ruler of Starry Sky. 10 years? Longao was stunned to hear that Master God Diviner had only used 10 years to refine the tablet. He knew very well what it meant to refine a Primal Chaos Tablet in 10 years. Other rulers of Starry Sky could refine it in 10,000 years, let alone 10. Longao didn't say anything. He continued to listen quietly. When I became the ruler of Starry Sky, do you know where I refined the tablet? Scarlet Fire Town? The words had already been said to this extent. If Longao still did not understand, then it would be too ridiculous. That's right. I refined the tablet here and became the ruler of Starry Sky. So that's how it was. He'd be lying if he said he wasn't surprised. Longao never would have guessed that Scarlet Fire Town's origins would be so great. But even so, it had nothing to do with him. However, Longao didn't say anything, because he didn't know what to say at this time. When I became the ruler of Starry Sky, I discovered the source of primal chaos and left Scarlet Fire Town. After many years of investigation, I finally tried to enter a bit. Although I didn't make any substantial progress, I trapped a spirit beast on the outskirts. Spirit beast? Longao knew exactly what a spirit beast meant. Spirit beasts and divine beasts were two completely different concepts. How could a spirit beast appear in the source of primal chaos? Longao was almost certain that the spirit beast that Master God Diviner had trapped was no ordinary spirit beast. Senior, what is the origin of this spirit beast? I believe you already know that the greatest strength in our vast universe comes from the Chaos Stone Tablets and the origin of chaos. For now, we call this strength the Chaos Force. Primal Chaos Energy. It seemed like both his Primal Chaos Axe and the Primal Chaos Palace were such super existences. There was nothing wrong with this. Longao also admitted that the strongest strength in the vast starry skies was the power of chaos within the Chaos Tablet. As for the source of chaos, he had only been there once and didn't know anything about it. As for all of us who have devoured the Primal Chaos Stone Tablets, we are unable to truly control the Primal Chaos energy within the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. Thus, we are unable to differentiate the grades of the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. The godly mathematician and Longao talked as they walked. Unknowingly, they had already entered the Red Fire Town's Long family's courtyard. The two found a place to sit down. The spiritual beast that I obtained back then was a great rock. Its name was Chaotic Great Rock. Primordial Rock? The word chaos sounded especially dignified. Longao was also very surprised. For a spiritual beast to be able to step into the origin of chaos, it was clear that this chaos spiritual beast was a terrifying existence. However, Longao had another guess, and that was the primordial rock itself came from the origin of chaos. If that was the case, it would be an inconceivable matter. As if he could guess Longao's thoughts, the godly mathematician said, "Just as you guessed, according to my guess, if there are no accidents, this primordial rock itself came from the origin of chaos, as expected." Although he had guessed it, Longao was still very shocked. Longao knew very well what it meant that the primordial rock came from the origin of chaos. Longao still didn't know what the godly mathematician meant by telling him this. Under normal circumstances, this was the biggest secret to the godly mathematician. Since that was the case, the godly mathematician's words were a little strange and mysterious. "Senior, what do you mean?" "What I mean is very simple. I have taken the primordial rock away from the origin of chaos, and it is in the Red Fire Town." Hearing this, Longao stood up directly, his face full of shock. "Senior, what do you mean?" "Yes, although I have sealed it here, as time slowly passed, I found that I was increasingly unable to strengthen the seal. Just a few years ago, I found that the seal suddenly stabilized a little." Longao was not a fool. He instantly understood what the godly mathematician meant. Could it be him? It was simply nonsense. Whether the godly mathematician believed it or not, he would never believe it. Senior, do you suspect that it was me who stabilized the seal? I've thought about it for a long time. Other than you, there is no other possibility. Although the godly mathematician didn't want to believe his own conjecture, there was no other possibility. As of this moment, Longao finally understood why the godly mathematician hadn't killed him, despite knowing that he would be a big problem in the future. It was because of the seal. Of course, Longao was certain that the godly mathematician's decision to not do anything to him had something to do with fate. Because of that, the godly mathematician feared him, and thus didn't make a move. Longao didn't try to explain himself. After all, the more he tried to explain, the more troublesome it would be. Furthermore, he had his own thoughts, and that was that the more the godly mathematician acted like this, the less likely it was that the godly mathematician would do anything to him. In any case, although he had the primordial chaos steels, and there were 14 other people in the Empire who had them, none of them had been able to refine them and become the sovereign lord of the starry sky. Under such circumstances, fighting the godly mathematician would be suicidal. The longer he delayed, the more advantageous it would be for him. Senior, why did you bring me here this time? Longao was very curious. If the godly mathematician had stabilized the seal, why bring him here? After all, it was important to keep it a secret. Otherwise, no one in the starry sky would have known that the godly mathematician had sealed the primordial rock. In that case, what was the godly mathematician's intention? Why had he brought him to Scarlet Flame Town? Did he want him to continue strengthening the seal? Although Longao was confident in his own strength, he also knew that the primordial rock's origin was too terrifying. If even the godly mathematician couldn't stabilize the seal, then there was no way he could. Had the godly mathematician lost his mind? Chapter 2360. Longao, I believe you've already guessed it. I asked you to come here this time because I hope you can help me subdue this chaos rock. As expected, Longao was very depressed in his heart. Even the godly mathematician couldn't seal the chaos rock forever. Wouldn't it be like hitting a rock with an egg? Longao was very self-aware. Senior, I want to ask, how strong is this chaos rock? That was the key. If the chaos rock wasn't strong enough, then he could help the godly mathematician. No matter what the godly mathematician's purpose was, Longao knew very well that without the godly mathematician's help, he and the Empire might not have reached this step. He could also take this opportunity to thank the godly mathematician. The godly mathematician also understood Longao's meaning. There was no doubt that no matter who it was, they would have done the same thing. No one was willing to throw away their lives for nothing. If Longao was being hypocritical, the godly mathematician might be angry. I won't hide it from you. When I fought with the Chaos Rock, we were evenly matched. It was even stronger. Hearing the godly mathematician's words, Longao was completely shocked. Although he had already guessed that this Chaos Rock from the source of chaos was very strong, he didn't expect it to be so strong. There was no need to say much about the godly mathematician's strength. With a high-level chaos tablet, the godly mathematician could be considered the strongest in the vast starry sky. From this, one could imagine what kind of existence the source of chaos was. Senior, you think too highly of me. Even you can't deal with the Chaos Rock, let alone me. The godly mathematician smiled and said, Longao, although the Chaos Rock is strong, it doesn't have a Chaos Tablet. I have a Chaos Tablet, so I can use it to suppress the Chaos Rock. Longao had already thought of this. Even so, what could he do? Longao was convinced that if Master God Diviner was confident in being able to kill the primordial rock, he wouldn't have needed to wait so many years. In the end, Master God Diviner simply wasn't confident. All these years, I've been thinking about how to subdue this chaos rock. Longao, I don't have anything to hide from you. If I can subdue it, I might be able to unravel the secrets of the Chaos Stone Tablet. So that was the case. It was true that no one could resist the temptation of a primal chaos rock, not even Master God Diviner. Since things had already turned out this way, what else could they do? Longao knew that the fact that Master God Diviner had revealed this secret to him meant that he was putting everything on the line. If he didn't agree to help, then he had no idea what would happen. Senior, what should I do? Come with me. Master God Diviner and Longao both rose to their feet and walked toward the main hall of the Dragon Clan. Long Family Ancestral House. Although there were no ancestral tablets, this place was still listed as a forbidden area by Crimson Fire Town. No matter who it was, no one was allowed to enter without permission. Could it be that the primal chaos rock was sealed within this ancestral house? It was just as Longao had guessed. Back then, Master God Diviner had sealed the primal chaos rock here. However, due to a strange combination of factors, the Dragon Clan's residence had been built on top of it. Longao, this is the place where the primal chaos rock was sealed. It is also the place where you were born. Unbelievable. Even now, Longao was still a bit afraid. If the Dragon Clan hadn't moved away in time, then once the primal chaos rock had broken out of the seal, the Dragon Clan and the entire Martial Heaven continent would have been annihilated. It would be a lie to say that he didn't feel the slightest bit of resentment. Master God Diviner had clearly known about this, but he had never mentioned it. If they hadn't moved away in time, the consequences would have been unimaginable. Seeing that Longao wasn't speaking, Master God Diviner naturally knew what Longao was thinking. Senior, I have a question that I hope you can answer truthfully. Speak. Longao thought about it for a moment. In the end, he said, Senior, with so many things happening, it would be a bit unrealistic if I still couldn't guess. Master God Diviner didn't say anything. I want to ask Senior, is Long Batian your clone? Although this guess was a bit ridiculous, after everything that had happened, Longao was almost certain that his guess wasn't wrong. Long Batian was definitely Master God Diviner's clone. Master God Diviner shook his head. You're only half right. It seemed that Master God Diviner had no intention of continuing to hide this. Longao, since things have already reached this point, I don't want to keep hiding it. Long Batian was only chosen by me back then. After so many years, he can be considered loyal and devoted. In a bit, I will raise him to the peak of the starry sky and let him oversee your empire. What do you think? Could Longao accept this? Long Batian was Master God Diviner's subordinate. If he really did go to war with Master God Diviner in the future, Long Batian would definitely help Master God Diviner, not him. However, Longao didn't refuse. He smiled. I have no problem with that. When Master God Diviner saw Longao smile, he smiled as well. Senior, in that case, when will we go to the sealing site? Longao was very much looking forward to seeing the primal chaos rock that had escaped from the primal chaos fountainhead. He didn't need to guess to know that the primal chaos rock contained the true power of primal chaos. Otherwise, why would Master God Diviner be thinking of ways to destroy it? There was no question that Master God Diviner wanted to use the primal chaos rock's power to unlock the secrets of the primal chaos steels. If Master God Diviner could do this, then he would be the strongest person in the universe. No one would be his match. Longao relaxed. Although the strength of the chaotic giant rock is very powerful, I was only able to seal it by luck. However, after so many years, I have been suppressing it, and the injuries of the chaotic giant rock have gradually worsened. So, I must succeed this time. Otherwise, according to my guess, if there are no accidents, the chaotic giant rock will break the seal and leave here in less than 100 years. At that time, The people in the vast starry sky will be plunged into misery and suffering, including your soaring dragon empire. How could Longao not understand what Master God Diviner meant? He sneered inwardly. Master God Diviner was doing this because he wanted Longao to help him subdue the primal chaos rock. Senior, don't worry. I will do my best. Master God Diviner seemed to be very satisfied. Although he was very afraid of the variables, he didn't put Longao in his eyes. He was very confident that he could kill Longao in a matter of minutes. It would be a very easy matter. Chapter 2361. The sealed place was right below the Lin family's ancestral house. If Master Godly Mathematician hadn't mentioned it, no one would have known, including Longao. It was too well hidden, and as soon as Longao stepped in, he clearly sensed that there were at least dozens of peak Starry Sky immortals around the sealed land, and there was also a Starry Sky ruler seal. What did that mean? Even if someone found this place, no one would be able to step in. The sealed place was a huge cave. In the center of the cave was a cage made of lightning, in which sat a beautiful young man. Was he the Chaos Rock? A Starry Sky beast could transform into a human, let alone a Chaos Rock, which was as strong as Master Godly Mathematician. How dare you come, Master Godly Mathematician? Seeing Master Godly Mathematician, the Chaos Rock was furious and kept roaring. If it weren't for the cage, it would have attacked Master Godly Mathematician. Master Godly Mathematician ignored Master Godly Mathematician's anger. Master Godly Mathematician and Longao came to the cage. Rock, I've told you that if you're willing to submit to me, I'll let you go. Get out of here, Master Godly Mathematician. You'd better not let me break out of the seal. Otherwise, I'll tear you to pieces. Is that so? Master Godly Mathematician didn't care at all. Master Godly Mathematician might not be as strong as Master Godly Mathematician, but he had the Chaos Tablet. Even if he didn't really control the power of the tablet, he had merged with it. In this way, Master Godly Mathematician could suppress Master Godly Mathematician. Otherwise, Master Godly Mathematician wouldn't have been able to seal Master Godly Mathematician. Longao's intuition told him that if Master Godly Mathematician didn't want to subdue Master Godly Mathematician, he would have found a way to destroy Master Godly Mathematician. Longao, try and see if you can help me subdue Master Godly Mathematician. Him. The primal chaos giant rock almost burst out laughing. His face was filled with disdain as he spoke in a mocking tone. Master Godly Mathematician couldn't do it. How could a small Starry Sky immortal do it? Was Master Godly Mathematician out of his mind? Master Godly Mathematician was too whimsical. The chaotic giant rock laughed mockingly. His laughter was full of contempt. He didn't put Longao in his eyes at all. Master God Diviner and Longao didn't seem to care at all. Longao nodded his head and began to sense it. He could clearly sense that the chaotic rock within the seal was not simple. If he were to rely on his senses alone, he definitely wouldn't be able to sense anything. However, Longao was not worried at all. This was because the non-elemental Chaos Stone Tablet in the Chaos Hall could help him sense the aura of the Chaos Rock. Without a doubt, the Chaos Rock within the seal must have grasped the power of chaos. In other words, the power contained within the Chaos Stone Tablet was also one of the most terrifying strengths in the vast starry skies. However, the primordial rock only had a pitiful amount of primordial energy. Otherwise, the divine mathematician wouldn't have been able to defeat the primordial rock, let alone seal the primordial rock. Most likely, Master God Diviner knew that as well. Wanting to subdue the primordial rock was almost impossible, unless there was an absolute suppression of strength. However, in the entire vast starry skies, only Master God Diviner had the chance to do so. But looking at the current situation, even Master God Diviner couldn't do so. In other words, in the entire vast starry skies, no one could subdue this primordial rock. Unless there was someone who could truly grasp the power within the Chaos Stone Tablet. If that was the case, there might be a chance of subduing the primordial rock. Longao didn't hide anything. He told Master God Diviner everything that he had thought of earlier. However, he didn't tell him about the Chaos Hall and the non-elemental Chaos Stone Tablet. Longao was almost certain that if Master God Diviner knew about this, he would be in big trouble. Extremely big trouble. This was because the non-elemental Chaos Stone Tablet was clearly not a low-grade one. It wasn't a mid-grade one either. It was highly likely to be a high-grade one. Would Master God Diviner allow another high-grade Chaos Stone Tablet to appear in the vast starry skies and be on the same level as him? That was definitely impossible. Not to mention Master God Diviner, no one would agree to this. This was something that couldn't be denied. After hearing this, Master God Diviner wasn't the least bit surprised. You're right. Right now, there's only one way, and that is for me to grasp the power within the Chaos Stone Tablet. Only then will I be able to subdue the primordial rock. But if that's the case, then this matter will be completely meaningless. Longao knew exactly what Master God Diviner meant. The reason why Master God Diviner was so eager to subdue the primordial rock was because he wanted to borrow its power. He wanted to see if he could grasp the power within the Chaos Stone Tablet and become the true ruler of the starry skies. But now? He couldn't subdue the primordial rock at all. This was a complete pain in the ass. Master God Diviner didn't want to wait any longer. He didn't have the slightest bit of confidence that he would be able to grasp the power within the Chaos Stone Tablet. Over the years, he had thought of countless ways to subdue the primordial rock. Besides the primordial rock, he had tried everything else, but none of them had worked. If he kept waiting like this and the primordial rock broke out of the seal, then he would be in big trouble. All of his previous efforts would be for naught. Of course, Master God Diviner didn't want to see that happen. Therefore, he had to cut the Gordian knot and subdue the primordial rock. Then he could borrow the primordial rock's power to grasp the power within the Chaos Stone Tablet and become the true ruler of the starry skies. Rock, I'll give you one last chance. Are you willing to submit to me? Master God Diviner had clearly lost his patience. He had always assumed that Longao would have a way to help him subdue the primordial rock, because that was what he had predicted. He hadn't expected that Longao wouldn't have a way to subdue the primordial rock. Who knew what he would have to do to subdue the primordial rock? The primordial rock laughed and said mockingly, "Master God Diviner, you're overestimating yourself. Who do you think you are? You want me to submit to you? Let me give you a word of advice. Go home and sleep. Don't provoke me again. Sooner or later, I'll break out of the seal and leave this place. When that happens, you'll die." Anger. This was the first time Longao had seen Master God Diviner so angry. In his impression, Master God Diviner was always calm and collected. No matter what happened, he would always be able to deal with it calmly. It seemed that Master God Diviner was still a person, even after becoming the ruler of the starry skies. However, Longao wasn't sure if Master God Diviner was a friend or foe, so he didn't let his guard down. As the saying goes, caution is the parent of safety. Chapter 2362. It was a stalemate. The marvelous mathematician wanted to subdue the chaotic rock. But how could the chaotic rock be willing to submit? Neither of them was willing to back down, so they had been in a stalemate for countless years. Longao couldn't do anything. After all, the strength of the chaotic rock was obvious. The marvelous mathematician obviously didn't want to give up. He stared at the seal cage in front of him and said, "Longao, if you can help me subdue it, you can ask for anything." What did that mean? Did the marvelous mathematician not believe in him? Longao was extremely depressed. Before he could speak, the marvelous mathematician said, "Longao, it's not that I don't believe in you, but I know you can do it. It's just a matter of time." He was very surprised. Longao really couldn't figure out what gave the marvelous mathematician so much confidence that he was sure that he could help him subdue the chaotic rock in front of him. Hearing the marvelous mathematician's words, the chaotic rock was the first to laugh. Its laughter was full of endless contempt and ridicule. A small starry sky mighty wanted to subdue it? It was a total joke. From the beginning to the end, the chaotic rock didn't take Longao seriously. "Marvelous mathematician, are you out of your mind?" The marvelous mathematician didn't care at all. He sneered and said, "Rock, let's wait and see." The marvelous mathematician took Longao to the side and said, "I have something important to do. I'll leave for 10 days. Think of a way to subdue this chaotic rock." Okay. Since things had come to this, even if Longao was unwilling, he could only choose to agree. As for whether it would succeed or not, it would depend on luck. Anyway, Longao had no confidence at all. The marvelous mathematician smiled, turned around and disappeared into the cave. In the entire cave, only the chaotic rock and Longao were left, looking at each other. All of a sudden, the chaotic rock said, "Boy, what's your name?" "Longao." The chaotic giant rock nodded and said, "Longao, if you help me break out of the seal, I will give you everything you want. What do you think?" Longao already knew what the primordial rock meant. He definitely would not agree to the primal chaos great rock's request. If he angered the god diviner, it wouldn't matter. After all, he could enter the chaos palace. By then, even the god diviner wouldn't be able to do anything to him. The only thing Longao was worried about was his family. The monk can run away, but the temple can't. If the divine mathematician forcefully made a move against the soaring dragon empire, how many people in the empire would be able to contend against the divine mathematician? At that time, the entire soaring dragon empire would be wiped out. Like he said before, he wouldn't provoke the oracle unless he was absolutely sure. He shook his head. Longao smiled and said, "Primordial rock, I only have one mission, and that is to help Senior God Diviner subdue you." The primordial rock wasn't surprised at all. Since he was brought here by the divine mathematician, he might not choose to believe him if he agreed so easily. She was naturally paranoid. Instead of getting angry, the primordial rock laughed and said contemptuously, "Longao, with your strength, do you really think you can subdue me? If not for the divine mathematician sealing me when I was injured, even if he had the chaos tablet, he wouldn't be able to defeat me. What a piece of trash." Longao was not interested in what happened back then. He didn't continue to talk to the primordial rock. Instead, he sat down and looked at the seal in front of him. Longao kept thinking about how to subdue this primordial rock. This matter was too difficult. Even the divine mathematician had no idea how to subdue this primordial rock. Thinking about it, one could imagine how difficult it was to subdue this primordial rock. Until now, Longao still couldn't figure out why the divine mathematician would choose him. As for the previous explanation, it was complete nonsense. He didn't believe it at all. The divine mathematician didn't leave immediately. He was still in the cave, but Longao didn't know. Seeing that Longao didn't agree to the primordial rock's request, the divine mathematician relaxed and disappeared from the cave. Longao didn't turn around, but he could clearly sense that the divine mathematician had truly left this time. Of course, he couldn't sense the divine mathematician's location or aura with his own strength. However, he had the primordial chaos palace, which was incomparably powerful. He could truly sense that the divine mathematician hadn't left. Longao was almost certain. If he had agreed to the primordial rock's request, there was no doubt that the divine mathematician would have attacked him. Now was not the time to shed all pretense of cordiality. "All right, the divine mathematician has left." Longao, shouldn't we talk about the terms now? Longao smiled. It seemed that he wasn't the only one who had sensed the divine mathematician's aura. Even so, there was no way he would agree to help the primordial rock break free from the seal. Longao smiled and shook his head. I'm sorry, but I can't help you. Like I said, I only have one mission, and that is to subdue you. As for anything else, it has nothing to do with me. Nothing could get through to him. He wouldn't be the primordial rock if he wasn't infuriated. Even so, the primordial rock forcefully suppressed the anger in his heart. He kept telling himself that this was his only chance. If he missed this opportunity, he didn't know how long he would have to wait to break the seal and leave this place. The primordial rock was well aware of one thing. The fact that the divine mathematician had brought this person here and hoped that this person would help him subdue him was enough to explain a lot of things. The primordial rock had pretended to despise Longao because he knew that although this person's strength wasn't very impressive, he was definitely extraordinary. Otherwise, the divine mathematician wouldn't have acted like this. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. He had to do everything he could to get out of here. The primordial rock wouldn't have worried at all if he was in his peak condition. But now, especially after so many years of accumulation, his injuries were getting worse and worse. Even if he could break free from the seal with his own strength, he still wouldn't be a match for the divine mathematician. When the time came, he would really be subdued by the divine mathematician and fall into eternal damnation. At this moment, the primordial rock was very anxious. He said, Longao, let's talk. You can name any conditions you want. As long as I can do it, I will agree. What do you think? Longao shook his head and said resolutely, That's impossible. In the vast starry sky, the divine mathematician is the strongest. If I help you, what will happen to my family? Chapter 2363. It was only for a moment. The chaotic great rock had already understood what Longao meant. The marvelous mathematician was indeed very powerful. It would be a piece of cake for him to deal with others. No wonder Longao had such concerns. It was still the same sentence. For the chaotic great rock, this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Longao, I can promise you that as long as you can help me break out of the seal, I will take charge of your empire. With me around, even the marvelous mathematician won't dare to act rashly. Was this really okay? Longao couldn't take the risk, nor did he dare to take the risk. He wouldn't doubt the chaotic great rock's words. He also believed that the chaotic great rock would definitely take charge of the empire. But would this be useful? It wouldn't be useful at all. With the marvelous mathematician's powerful strength, it would be a piece of cake for him to deal with the empire. Shaking his head, Longao said helplessly, Forgive me for not being able to help. The chaotic great rock was completely anxious, because the chaotic great rock knew very well that when the marvelous mathematician returned in dozens of days, even if Longao was willing to help him, it would be impossible. Longao, state your conditions? The chaotic great rock was still unwilling to give up. Chaotic great rock, I have a few things that I don't understand. I hope you can answer me truthfully. How about it? If I answer you, are you willing to help me break out of the seal? Longao didn't dwell on this issue because he was in control of the situation now. The chaotic great rock could only be led by the nose by him. Chaotic great rock, the first question is, why are you in the spring of chaos? Did you enter from the outside, or are you in the spring of chaos? This question was actually useless for Longao now. However, out of curiosity, Longao still wanted to ask to see if the chaotic great rock had entered from the outside, or was it in the spring of chaos itself. The spring of chaos. As expected, both the marvelous mathematician and Longao had already guessed that the chaotic great rock didn't enter from the outside, but was in the spring of chaos itself. Longao was very surprised because he knew very well what it meant to come from the spring of chaos. No wonder the chaotic great rock could master the power of chaos. The second question is, what is inside the spring of chaos? I refuse to answer that question. Longao didn't press him. If you don't answer, I'll stop asking. Longao was not in a hurry, but someone else was. The primal chaos rock looked at Longao coldly. It was true that a fallen tiger would be bullied by dogs. A featherless phoenix was no better than a chicken. His heart was filled with unwillingness, but the matter had already come to this. The primal chaos rock sighed deeply in his heart and said, Longao, I can't say much about other things. I can only tell you that the primal chaos source is a channel. Passage? What did that mean? Longao became more and more curious. However, he didn't continue to ask because he knew very well that it was impossible for the chaotic giant Ping to continue to answer this question. It would be pointless to ask. But even so, he had already obtained something very important. According to the chaos giant rock, if the origin of chaos was a channel, then what was at the end of the channel? Longao, are you done asking? Don't be in a hurry. Let me ask you the third question. The power of chaos you control, is it the same power as the power of chaos in the chaos tablet that the God Diviner possesses? This was what Longao wanted to know the most. The power of chaos was a completely new and mysterious power. However, he was certain that this power was the strongest existence in the vast universe. The chaos giant Ping naturally knew what Longao meant. Your guess is correct. The power of chaos I control is also the power of the chaos tablet. As expected, before Longao could speak, the chaos giant Ping continued, the power of chaos I control is very thin. Otherwise, how could the God Diviner be my opponent? Longao knew very well that the chaos giant Ping was just unconvinced. However, Longao didn't think so. He said, Chaos giant Ping, if the God Diviner truly controls the power of chaos in the chaos tablet, would you still be his opponent? The chaos giant Ping didn't speak. Although it didn't want to admit it, the truth was right in front of its eyes. The chaos tablet was indeed very powerful. However, the God Diviner hadn't truly controlled the power of chaos in the tablet. This was also why the chaos giant Ping was in such a hurry to break out of the seal. It wanted to eliminate the God Diviner as soon as possible. Fourth question. Why don't you devour the chaos tablet? Longao was certain that the origin of chaos definitely had a chaos tablet. The chaos giant Ping itself came from the origin of chaos. If that was the case, the chaos giant Ping had countless chances to devour the chaos tablet. Since that was the case, why didn't the chaos giant Ping devour the chaos tablet? In any case, the chaos giant Ping had already grasped the power of chaos. If it devoured the chaos tablet, then there was no doubt that the chaos giant Ping would be able to completely control the power of chaos in the tablet. Speaking of this, the chaos giant Ping was very helpless. Its face was full of helplessness. Longao, it seems like you still don't know that the chaos tablet has an absolute limit. Only you humans can devour it. Among us spirit beasts, no one can devour the chaos tablet. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to do it after all these years. At this point, the chaos giant Ping didn't continue speaking. However, the meaning of its words was very clear. Longao nodded. He didn't have the slightest doubt. Because other than this possibility, he really couldn't understand why the chaos giant Ping would guard the so-called chaos tablet but never devour it. It was a little unbelievable. So that was the case. Longao, my patience is limited. Don't try to challenge my bottom line. Otherwise, even if I don't break out of the seal, I will kill you. Seeing that Longao didn't speak, how could the chaos giant Ping not know that Longao definitely believed it? It sneered. Longao, don't think that I can't kill you just because the God Diviner has sealed me. If you don't believe me, you can try. Longao also didn't have the slightest doubt. If the chaos giant Peng that controlled the power of chaos couldn't do it, then it was a little too unworthy of its reputation. However, Longao didn't have the slightest fear. He smiled and said, "Chaos giant Peng, don't try to trick me. Even if you can kill me, do you think I will be afraid of you?" Without giving the chaos giant Peng any chance to speak, Longao continued, "Why don't we try?" The more Longao acted like this, the more uncertain the chaos giant Peng was. Could it be that Longao was so fearless because he had something to rely on? If that was the case, then things were really troublesome. For a moment, the cave fell into silence. Longao didn't speak, and neither did the chaos giant Peng. Chapter 2364. Time passed bit by bit. A few hours later, the primordial rock couldn't hold back any longer. "Longao," it said coldly, "it seems you're going to be stubborn." Longao didn't care. He hadn't made any promises, and the primordial rock had answered his questions. It had nothing to do with him. "Primordial rock, let me give you a word of advice. You'd better save your energy." It wasn't worth provoking Master God Diviner for a primordial rock. If Longao said that there was nothing in his heart, then he would definitely be lying. He knew exactly what the primordial rock meant. If he could subdue this chaos rock, then the significance would be completely different. Although the primordial rock hadn't devoured the primordial steels, it had mastered the power of primordial chaos, and could fight Master God Diviner. If he could control the primordial rock, he wouldn't have to fear Master God Diviner. Still, Longao was worried. If it was just him, it wouldn't be a big deal. But there was the entire empire. If Master God Diviner went crazy and secretly attacked his family, then things would be very troublesome. Of course, Longao didn't plan on helping Master God Diviner subdue the primordial rock. That was because Longao knew that God Diviner was the strongest being in this vast universe. If he subdued the Chaos Rock would be incredibly strong. God Diviner would be able to control the Chaos Tablet's power. God Diviner would become the strongest being. If that happened, then Master God Diviner would act without restraint. Not to mention others, even he would be in trouble. This kind of method of harming others without benefiting oneself, Longao would definitely not do it. What should he do? For a moment, Longao wavered. According to Master God Diviner, he would return in 10 days. In other words, he had 10 days to think things over. Although he hadn't left the cave, Longao was certain that after Master God Diviner had left, he had sealed the cave, making it impossible for him to leave. It was understandable. Longao wasn't angry at all, because other than Master God Diviner, everyone else would have done the same. After all, the primordial rock was a very serious matter. If he subdued the primordial rock and left without a hitch, wouldn't Master Clairvoyant cry himself to death? If it were anyone else, they would have no chance at all. Except for Longao. As long as Longao was willing, he could find a way to subdue the primal chaos rock and enter the primal chaos palace. Longao was extremely confident in his primal chaos palace. Not to mention others, even Master God Diviner would not be able to lock onto his position once he stepped into the primal chaos palace. However, Longao did not do so. The reason was simple. He wasn't going to provoke Master God Diviner unless he was completely confident. Even if he didn't think about himself, he had to think about his empire and his clan. In any case, Master God Diviner's strength was obvious. It would be a lie to say that he wasn't afraid. Inside the sealed cage, the primal chaos rock was furious. However, there was nothing he could do because he couldn't leave the cage. The culprit was Master God Diviner. Holding back the anger in his heart, The primal chaos rock gradually calmed down because he knew that the reason why Longao didn't help him was because he was afraid of Master God Diviner. If he could eliminate Longao's fear of Master God Diviner, then there was no doubt that Longao would help him break out of the seal. What should he do? The primal chaos rock was also constantly thinking of a way because he knew that his promise was useless to Longao. Otherwise, Longao would have agreed to it just now. Longao didn't say anything either. He knew what the primal chaos rock was thinking. Primal chaos rock, how should I enter the primal chaos palace? If he could step into the primal chaos palace, Longao certainly wouldn't miss such an opportunity. There were two reasons. The first reason was that there were many chaos tablets in the primal chaos palace. Longao was almost certain that if he could step into the primal chaos palace, he would be able to use the non-attributed chaos tablets to obtain more chaos tablet. From there, he would be able to create his own primal chaos palace army and allow more people to devour the chaos tablet. The second reason was that if he stepped into the primal chaos palace, he would be able to discover the secrets of the primal chaos palace. In this way, whether it was himself or his family members who devoured the chaos tablets, they would be able to unlock the secrets of the primal chaos palace and gain control of the primal chaos palace's primal chaos palace. This was exactly the case. The primal chaos palace was imperative. However, Longao was very clear that if he entered normally, he wouldn't be able to do it. Neither would anyone else, not even Master God Diviner. Moreover, the primal chaos palace was bound to be filled with danger. Even if he was lucky and entered the primal chaos palace, it was still unknown if he could leave alive. However, the situation was completely different now. The primal chaos rock came from the primal chaos palace. Without a doubt, the primal chaos rock was very familiar with the primal chaos palace's situation. If the primal chaos rock could tell him about the primal chaos palace, it would save him a lot of trouble. The primal chaos rock smiled but did not say anything. Longao knew what the primal chaos big rock meant. If he wanted to know, he had to help the primal chaos big rock leave this place. However, in Longao's opinion, other than this, he could agree to anything else. However, before Longao could say anything, the chaos rock said, "Longao, I'll say the same thing again. If you help me leave this place, not only will I help you fend off Master Clairvoyant in your empire, but I can also personally take you to the origin of chaos. I'll let you obtain the chaos tablet you want and help you control the power of chaos inside. How about it?" He had to admit that such a temptation was too great. No matter who it was, no one could resist it. If it was someone else, even if they had worries, they would definitely agree. However, Longao was not that kind of person. If Longao really agreed, then he would not be Longao. Longao also admitted that this temptation was too great. However, for the sake of his family and empire, he shook his head and said, "I'm sorry, I can't agree to it. I have to be responsible for my family. Primal Chaos Rock, if you are willing to help me, I can promise that I won't let Master Clairvoyant subdue you. This is all I can do. How about it?" Scram! Upon hearing Longao's words, the Primal Chaos Rock was completely enraged. It was like an erupting volcano that could erupt at any time. Longao shrugged helplessly and said, "If you don't agree, then there's nothing I can do. However, you have to be careful and don't regret it. You only have one chance." Chapter 2365. The Chaos Rock seemed confused. No one had ever dared to speak to it like that in all these years. If it had been Master God Diviner or some other ruler of the stars, it would have been fine. But this was a mere universe master, and yet he dared to speak to it in such a manner. However, no matter how angry it was, it could only endure for now. It did its best to suppress its anger. Time passed quickly. In the blink of an eye, 3 days had passed. No matter how much the Chaos Rock coaxed, Longao remained unmoved. In fact, the Chaos Rock almost went berserk. The fourth day, just as Longao was thinking about what to do, Master God Diviner suddenly returned. Longao didn't know what had happened. Master God Diviner had said he would return in 10 days, but now he had returned 7 days early. Fortunately, he hadn't agreed to the Chaos Rock's request. Otherwise, the consequences would have been unimaginable. He seemed to be able to guess Longao's curiosity. Master God Diviner smiled. I didn't expect things to go so smoothly, so I returned early. Longao, have you thought of a countermeasure? After so many years, he hadn't succeeded in subduing the Chaos Rock. It would be a lie to say he wasn't depressed. This was his only chance. Master God Diviner didn't know that if Longao couldn't subdue the Chaos Rock, who else in the universe could? Variables. Longao shook his head helplessly. I haven't thought of anything yet. Senior, I'm sure you know that the Chaos Rock controls the power of chaos. If you want to subdue it, you'll have to deal with the power of chaos first. Master God Diviner nodded in agreement. That was the key. If the primal Chaos Rock hadn't grasped the power of primal chaos, he wouldn't have even bothered to look at it, much less subdue it. The reason he wanted to subdue it was because he wanted to borrow the power of the primal chaos tablet to grasp the power of primal chaos tablet. How? Longao shook his head. I don't know. Senior, why don't you try your steel and see if it can subdue the Chaos Rock? Longao was almost certain that Master God Diviner's steel couldn't subdue the Chaos Rock. If it could, Master God Diviner would have done it long ago. Why would he wait until now? He'd said that on purpose. As expected. In response, Master God Diviner shook his head. From beginning to end, Longao and Master God Diviner hadn't paid any attention to the Primal Chaos Rock. They had been whispering to each other, and the Primal Chaos Rock had no idea what they were talking about. However, the Primal Chaos Great Rock could guess what the two of them were talking about. Without a doubt, the two of them must be discussing how to deal with him. With a gloomy face, the Primal Chaos Rock said coldly, "You two shameless humans, let me out if you have the ability. We can have a fair fight. Why do you have to be so sneaky? You two are really trash." He remained unmoved. He still chose to ignore it. The more the two behaved like this, the angrier the Primal Chaos Rock became. The angrier it got, the more it cursed. Trash. Shameless humans. Let me go if you dare. Watch how I tear you to shreds. Master God Diviner looked coldly at the Primal Chaos Rock. I'll give you a chance, Primal Chaos Rock. Let's have a fair fight. If you win, I'll let you leave. But if you lose, I'm sorry, but you'll have to acknowledge allegiance to me. What do you say? Shameless. The Primal Chaos Great Rock immediately shut up. If he was at his peak, he wouldn't be afraid of Master God Diviner. But now, he was seriously injured. He believed that Master God Diviner dared to do this because of this. If he really accepted the challenge, wouldn't he be fooled by Master God Diviner? The Primal Chaos Great Rock's face was gloomy and as ugly as it could be. You don't dare? Master God Diviner said contemptuously, you've been shouting for so many years. I thought you were very powerful. Turns out you're just a paper tiger. We're trash? I think you're the trash. You don't even dare to accept my challenge. You're a piece of trash. Longao found it funny. Of course, he knew that Master God Diviner was doing this to provoke the Primal Chaos Great Rock. Once the Primal Chaos Great Rock was fooled, it wouldn't be a match for Master God Diviner with its current strength. In that case, Master God Diviner would successfully subdue the Primal Chaos Great Rock. Would the Primal Chaos Great Rock accept the challenge? Longao wasn't sure if the Primal Chaos Great Rock would be fooled or not. Inside the seal, the Primal Chaos Great Rock was enraged to the extreme. Just as it was preparing to accept the challenge, a divine sense message entered its ears, causing it to shiver. "Don't even think about provoking me, Master God Diviner. If you have what it takes, let me leave this place. In 100 years, we'll fight. If you can defeat me, I'll acknowledge allegiance to you." Master God Diviner was shocked to see the primal chaos great rock return to normal. He had assumed that the primal chaos great rock would be enraged. If Longao hadn't been present, perhaps it wouldn't have. But now, the situation was different. With outsiders present, the primal chaos great rock felt as if it had lost face. But what had just happened? Master God Diviner didn't suspect Longao. With a heavy snort, Master God Diviner and Longao left the cave and entered another one, which could be said to be a cave within a cave. "Longao, your cultivation has reached the starry sky realm. I have something for you. With this, I believe that in less than 3 days, your cultivation will break through to the starry sky legend realm." Longao was overjoyed. He said, "Thank you, Senior. Under normal circumstances, it would take a long time to break through from the starry sky realm to the starry sky legend realm. However, no matter how talented one was, it would be difficult to break through without time to cultivate. The higher the realm, the more difficult it would be to break through." Longao took a small bottle from the divine mathematician's hand. Without the slightest hesitation, he unscrewed the bottle cap and swallowed it directly. In just an instant, a warm current instantly spread throughout his entire body and even integrated into his blood vessels. A breakthrough? Not only Master God Diviner, but even Longao himself was shocked. According to Master God Diviner's calculation and Longao's senses, even with help, it would take him at least 3 days to break through smoothly. But the result? In just a few seconds, Longao's cultivation had broken through from the starry sky realm to the starry sky legend realm. This kind of talent was a bit too heaven-defying. Master Godly Mathematician didn't have any expression on his face, but his heart was heavy. He had gradually discovered that Longao's talent was so abnormal that it was difficult to control. If this continued and Longao managed to refine the Chaos Tablet, what would he do if he escaped from his grasp in the future? Chapter 2366. He was very worried. However, Master God Diviner didn't show it. He wasn't strong enough to deal with Longao yet. In fact, the divine mathematician also had a selfish motive. That was Longao's innate talent. If he could make good use of it, Longao would be a good helper. Master God Diviner seemed very pleased. "Longao, you're very talented. You could be considered the #1 person in the universe." "I wouldn't dare." Although Longao was confident in his own talent, he knew his own limitations. As the saying went, there was always a sky beyond a sky, and a man beyond a man. There were countless cultivators in the universe, and there was no way he could become the #1. Master God Diviner didn't dwell on the matter. "Longao, tell me what I should do to tame the primordial rock." Even now, Master God Diviner still believed that Longao could help him tame the primordial rock. There was nothing he could do. Longao sighed. "Senior," he said, "it's not that I don't want to help you. But as I said, I can't help you unless you can control the power of primordial chaos." Speaking up to here, Longao did not continue speaking, but the meaning of his words was already very clear. How could Master God Diviner not know that? He didn't have much time left, and Master God Diviner had a bad premonition about what was about to happen. What should he do? For the moment, he couldn't think of anything. "Senior, forgive me for being blunt. You've chosen to tame the primordial rock because you want to use it to control the power of primordial chaos in the primordial chaos steels. In that case, you don't necessarily have to tame it." Master God Diviner didn't say anything. He just listened quietly. If anyone else had heard of this, they probably wouldn't have believed him. Everyone knew who Master God Diviner was. He was one of the 12 rulers of the stars, and he was the only one left in the universe. The others hadn't truly become a ruler yet. Senior, why don't you negotiate with the primordial rock? He'll help you control the primordial chaos steels, and you'll do your best to satisfy him. Master God Diviner nodded. He understood what Master God Diviner was trying to say. All these years. Of course, Master God Diviner had considered such a possibility, but after much consideration, he had decided not to. But now that Longao had said it was possible, Master God Diviner actually believed him. Inside the cave, looking at the two of them who had returned, the primal chaos great rock was no longer angry. However, the way it looked at the two of them was still as though they had killed its father. Dapeng, why don't we sit down and talk peacefully? Humph, snorting heavily, the chaos rock didn't agree, but neither did it refuse. The divine calculation smiled. The primal chaos rock had been sealed for countless years. Of course, it hoped that it could leave. If it was in the past, it would never compromise even if it was beaten to death. Rock. Master God Diviner didn't waste any time, and directly spoke his mind. Just as Longao had guessed, Master God Diviner didn't care about the primal chaos rock's life or death at all. With Master God Diviner's strength, having another primal chaos rock was just another powerful assistant. The only thing Master God Diviner cared about was how to control the power of the primal chaos stone tablet. Longao didn't say anything. He just stood aside and watched. He also wanted to see if the primal chaos rock would agree to Master God Diviner's request. In the vast starry sky, the first and second starry sky empires didn't go to war. Both sides were wary of each other. Longao just casually said a few words and then chose to leave. No matter who it was, no one knew what Longao was going to do. In this way, no one knew what Longao meant. The 5 peak starry sky immortals went to the soaring dragon empire several times with the same goal. They wanted to see if Longao had returned. As the saying went, there was no such thing as an impenetrable wall. Both sides finally met. In fact, whether it was Lin Han, Wang Tao, or the 3 eagles, they were all old foxes. The moment they saw each other, they understood what had happened. One had to admit that Longao's move was very vicious. Longao's intention was simple. He wanted to watch from the sidelines and reap the benefit. It would be a lie to say that they weren't angry. The 3 eagles didn't care. Earth Eagle sneered. Lin Han, Wang Tao, even without Longao, the first Starry Sky Empire could destroy the second Starry Sky Empire in a matter of minutes. Is that so? Lin Han and Wang Tao didn't believe it. If the first Starry Sky Empire could do it, they would have done it a long time ago. Why wait until now? Wang Tao said with a mocking smile, the 3 of you don't need to tell us how much weight each of us has. We all know it very well. Since that's the case, there's no need to boast. However, there's one point. Only one of our empires can exist. Lin Han continued, 3 eagles, don't think that you can deal with us just because you joined forces with Longao. If anything happens to us, the first person to deal with you will be Longao. The 3 eagles weren't fools. They understood what the 2 were trying to say. Longao was too cunning and talented. Moreover, he had the backing of the Starry Sky ruler. If the 2 empires really suffered heavy losses, then the first person to take action would undoubtedly be Longao. If that was the case, then how many people would be able to resist Longao? Whether it was the 3 eagles, Lin Han, or Wang Tao, they were all very afraid of Longao. They didn't underestimate him just because he hadn't broken through the limit of the Starry Sky Immortal Realm. The 5 of them knew very well that as long as Longao had enough time, then Longao would definitely be able to destroy the first and second Starry Sky Empires. Thinking of this, the 3 eagles stopped talking. Even Lin Han and Wang Tao didn't say anything. Unknowingly, they seemed to have been played by Longao. Fortunately, Longao had left this time. If he was still here, then the first and second Starry Sky empires might have already started fighting. At that time, Longao would just sit back and reap the benefits. The consequences would be unimaginable. Both sides looked at each other and saw the deep fear and apprehension in each other's eyes. Chapter 2367. The three eagles, Lin Han and Wang Tao, didn't fight. Instead, they sat down. Both sides were furious. If it hadn't been for this accident, they would have already started fighting. There would only be one result. Longao would reap the benefit. If we don't join forces, Longao will definitely deal with us in the future. With regards to Lin Han's intentions, how could the three space eagles not understand? If it had been before, they wouldn't have taken Longao seriously. But now, the situation was completely different. Longao's talent and strength were there for all to see. As long as there were no accidents, Longao would definitely be able to deal with all the Starry Sky empires. When that time came, few people in the entire vast universe would be a match for Longao. The more they thought about it, the more serious they became. The more they thought about it, the more helpless and depressed they felt. If it had been before, the three eagles would have killed him without hesitation. But now, Longao had the backing of the Starry Sky ruler. If they killed Longao, how would they deal with the Starry Sky ruler? The three of them didn't care about Longao's life or death. The only thing they were afraid of was the Starry Sky ruler behind Longao. The Starry Sky ruler was the true overlord of the vast universe. Even peak Starry Sky immortals were nothing in front of the Starry Sky ruler. What do the three of you think? Lin Han and Wang Tao's intention was simple. They wanted to join forces with the three eagles to get rid of Longao. They wanted to cut the weeds and eliminate the root. As things slowly developed, Lin Han and Wang Tao gradually realized that their real enemy wasn't the number one Starry Sky Empire, but Longao. It was still the same sentence. Longao's talent and potential were too terrifying. They couldn't guarantee how far Longao would grow in the future. Seeing the three space eagles remain silent, Wang Tao said helplessly, "Guys, I know what you are worried about, but have you ever thought about the possibility of Longao having Space Ruler behind him? If Longao really did have Space Ruler behind him, would he have waited until now?" Renying's face was solemn as he said, "We can't gamble. If we lose, we will be consigned to eternal damnation." How could Lin Han and Wang Tao not know the intentions of the three from Starry Sky? He despised the three of them in his heart. However, since things had already come to this, the two of them did not fall out. If it was in the past, the two of them would not have continued to stay and dilly-dally with the three of them. What do the three of you think? Without the help of the three of them, the two of them would be very worried. If he were to deal with Longao and the three Space Eagles were to stab him in the back, the two of them and the Empire would be in big trouble. Right at this moment. Sky Eagle waved his hand and said, "Lin Han, Wang Tao, the three of us agree. We will work together to deal with Longao." Hearing this, the two of them were overjoyed. Just like that, the five of them instantly reached an agreement. In this way, the five peak Starry Sky immortals, the five most powerful people in the vast Starry Sky besides Space Ruler, once they joined forces, the result was obvious. However, the five of them were almost certain that Longao was definitely not in the Soaring Dragon realm now. Just like that, the five of them decided to deal with the Soaring Dragon Empire first because the five of them were very clear that as long as they controlled the Soaring Dragon Empire, they would gradually control Longao. At that time, they could do whatever they wanted. But the result? With the protection of Xiling and Long Chong's Chaos Tablet, even if the five of them worked together, they would not be able to break the seal of the Soaring Dragon realm. It would be a lie to say that they were not shocked. This was because the 5 of them were extremely confident. With their strength, they could easily break through the seals of any realm if they worked together. But the result? The more it was so, the more shocked the 5 of them were because Longao was really a variable. What should they do? The 5 of them did not choose to give up because they were very clear that Longao was unpredictable. Wanting to catch Longao was like looking for a needle in a haystack. The only way was to deal with the soaring dragon empire and then deal with Longao. Sky Martial Continent. Long family, under the ancestral house. The primal chaos rock thought for a moment and finally agreed. Just as Longao had guessed, after being sealed for so many years, the primal chaos rock could not wait and could not wait to leave. As long as the conditions did not cross the bottom line, the primal chaos rock would choose to agree. The divine mathematician laughed in his heart. The divine mathematician did not care whether the primal chaos rock lived or died or whether it would be sealed. The only thing Master God Diviner cared about was whether or not he could control the chaos power within the Chaos Stone Tablet. If he could control the power of chaos within the primal Chaos Stone Tablet, coupled with his ability to calculate the grade of the tablet, then he was fully confident that he could truly become the #1 person in the vast universe from then on. Even if others could control the power of the primal Chaos Tablet, they would still not be his match. That was what the divine mathematician was most concerned about. Rock, I only have one request. As long as you can help me obtain the primal Chaos Tablet, I can let you go. From then on, our enmity will be written off. How about it? Strictly speaking, this request of the divine mathematician wasn't the slightest bit excessive. In the past, the primal chaos rock definitely wouldn't have agreed. As a proud member of the rock race, how could it be threatened by a human? But now the situation was completely different. The primal chaos rock had been sealed for countless years, and it no longer wanted to be sealed. It knew that with the divine mathematician's power, it would be extremely difficult for it to break the seal and leave this place. However, the primal chaos rock was even more clear on one thing. If the divine mathematician really did control the primal chaos tablet, then it definitely wouldn't be his match. No one could guarantee that the divine mathematician wouldn't turn against it once it obtained the primal chaos tablet. If that was the case, how could it deal with him? It would definitely die without even a chance to regret it. His face was very serious. Longao, who was standing to the side, instantly guessed the primal chaos rock's misgivings. However, Longao certainly didn't want the primal chaos rock to help the divine mathematician control the primal chaos tablet. If that was the case, then no one would be a match for the divine mathematician. However, Longao was also very clear that his spiritual awareness was useless at this time. Everything depended on the primal chaos rock's choice. Even if the primal chaos rock agreed, there was nothing he could do. Time passed little by little as the primal chaos rock pondered. The divine mathematician didn't speak, just watched quietly. Longao didn't speak either. Chapter 2368. 3 whole days passed. Master God Diviner was very patient and didn't rush him. He'd waited for so many years. A few more days wouldn't make much difference. Master God Diviner, I can agree, but you have to agree to 2 conditions. Master God Diviner was overjoyed when he heard the rock agree. As long as he could control the chaos energy within the chaos tablet, he would agree to any condition the rock came up with. The first condition is that you must swear a blood oath that once you control the chaos energy within the tablet, you will never attack me. Never. No problem. To Master God Diviner, this wasn't a problem at all. Because of this, Master God Diviner agreed without hesitation. As long as he could control the chaos energy within the tablet, he would agree to any condition without hesitation. The rock sneered in its heart. The second condition is that once you control the chaos energy within the tablet, you must become my subordinate. Huh? Master God Diviner wasn't the only one who couldn't accept this condition. Even Longao was a little shocked. Neither Master God Diviner nor Longao had ever imagined that the rock would make such a condition. Suppressing his anger, Master God Diviner said coldly, "You're playing with fire, primal chaos great rock. If you piss me off, I'll kill you even if I have to use the primal chaos power of the stone steels." The rock sneered and said mockingly, "Master God Diviner, there's no such thing as a free lunch in this world. If you want to get what you want, you have to pay the price. What do you think?" Of course, this was true. Everyone knew this, but the rock's condition was a pain in the ass. If Master God Diviner chose to submit to the rock, then what was the point of controlling the chaos energy? "Rock, I can't agree to this." "Fine. You can choose not to agree to this condition, but you have to agree to the replacement condition. Otherwise, there's no need to talk about this." Master God Diviner didn't agree, but he didn't refuse either. If it were anything else, he would have agreed without hesitation. All for the sake of smoothly obtaining the chaos energy within the tablet. Only this. If the rock could change this condition, it wouldn't be a bad thing. From beginning to end, Longao didn't say a word. "Master God Diviner, if I help you obtain the primal chaos energy within the primal chaos stone steel, you have to promise me 3 things in the future, no matter what." 3 things? If it were anything else, Master God Diviner would definitely agree. Only the matter of the primordial rock, because no one knew what the 3 things that the chaotic giant rock mentioned in the future were. What should he do if the primordial rock asked him to commit suicide? Master God Diviner's face grew darker and darker. The primal chaos rock didn't say anything further. After all, he was pretty sure that Master God Diviner wouldn't agree to the terms he had just offered. However, there was still a 50% chance that Master God Diviner would agree. The cave fell into silence. A hole within a hole. "Longao, do you think I can agree with the primal chaos rock?" Longao didn't want God Diviner to agree with the chaos big rock. If he did, that would mean the chaos big rock would help God Diviner obtain the chaos power inside the chaos tablet. This was something Longao absolutely didn't want to see happen. Helplessly shrugging his shoulders, Longao said, "Senior, forgive me for speaking bluntly, but the reason the Chaos Big Rock is doing this is to suppress you. If it helps you obtain the primal chaos energy, then in the future, any one of these 3 things would be unacceptable to you. But because of the blood oath, you have no choice but to accept them." This was what Master God Diviner was most worried about. It was precisely because of this that Master God Diviner hadn't agreed. He very much wanted to obtain the chaos power within the chaos stone steel, but he also knew how serious this matter was. Seeing that Master God Diviner didn't agree, Longao continued, "Senior, let's not talk about the 3 things for now. If the Chaos Big Rock asks you to commit suicide, would you be willing?" Master God Diviner nodded in agreement. "You're right. It seems that negotiating with the Chaos Big Rock won't work." Master God Diviner was helpless to the extreme. He had thought that Longao would have a way to help him subdue the Chaos Big Rock. He hadn't expected that even Longao wouldn't have the slightest idea. If that was the case, then even if Longao continued to stay, it would be useless. "Longao, if there's any progress, I'll come find you." "All right." Longao didn't tarry at all. He immediately left the cave. He had come in a hurry, not knowing what had happened between the first and second Starry Sky Empires. After all, he had stayed for a long time. If the 2 Starry Sky Empires saw through his intentions, then things would become troublesome. So he had to return as quickly as possible. Looking at the ancestral house, Longao still felt a bit of lingering fear. Fortunately, he had brought his family away from the Martial Heaven continent. Otherwise, if something had happened to the Chaos Big Rock and Master God Diviner, the consequences would have been unimaginable. Soaring Dragon Empire. Tens of millions of soldiers from the First and Second Starry Sky Empires were guarding the Soaring Dragon Empire. As long as the seal of the Soaring Dragon Empire was broken, then there was no doubt that tens of millions of Starry Sky cultivators would crazily rush into the plane. At that time, the Soaring Dragon Empire would be unstoppable. After all those who had obtained the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, including Xiling, hadn't really refined it. So no one could resist the joint attack of the First and Second Starry Sky Empires. In the distance, Longao, who had returned safely, of course knew what had happened. According to his guess, if there were no accidents, his plan should have been seen through. In that case, whether it was the First or Second Starry Sky Empires, they would definitely be furious. They would want to eliminate the root of the problem, so they would choose to deal with his empire. His bottom line was his empire. This point, the First and Second Starry Sky Empires were very clear. As long as they controlled his empire, it would be equivalent to grabbing his throat. At that time, if they wanted to kill him, it would be a matter of minutes. Thinking of this, Longao's face turned ugly. Fortunately, he had rushed back. Otherwise, if the First and Second Starry Sky Empires joined forces to break the seal of his empire, the consequences would be unimaginable. Endless anger. Longao clenched his fists tightly. He looked coldly at the tens of millions of people in front of him. Unknowingly, the Chaos Axe had appeared in his right hand. There was only one word in his heart: kill, 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 kill. Chapter 2369. Today, Longao's cultivation had smoothly broken through to Starry Sky Legend. What kind of concept was that? Not to mention others, even if it was a Starry Sky Immortal, Longao could still fight, unless he encountered a peak Starry Sky Immortal or a Starry Sky Ruler. Holding the Primal Chaos Axe, Longao was obviously angry, directly applying Starry Sky Mastery to the Primal Chaos Axe. Longao's speed was very fast. In the blink of an eye, the axe arrived. Longao used all his strength to hack at the crowd. Too fast. The speed was simply too fast. No one thought that someone would come up from behind and attack crazily. It was impossible to fight head-on, let alone a sneak attack. The axe in Longao's hand was like a killing machine, crazily hacking. A large number of space cracks began to appear around. It was too terrifying. Some people didn't even have time to react before they were swallowed by the space cracks and disappeared without a trace. Seeing this situation, everyone was completely dumbfounded. When they saw the real face of the person who came, everyone already knew what had happened. Longao was back. One move killed tens of thousands of people, including a Starry Sky Legend. Such strength was simply crazy. No one was not afraid of death. Everyone began to retreat, because Longao's madness was well known. At that time, he was only a Starry Sky cultivator, but he dared to fight against an empire stronger than him. This in itself already explained everything. Longao did not give up. This time the First and Second Starry Sky Empire joined forces. If he came back late, the seal would be broken, and the consequences would be unimaginable. Thinking of this, Longao was like an erupting volcano. Even he himself could not control himself, to cut the weeds and eliminate the roots, to prevent future troubles. Anyway, his plan had been discovered by the First and Second Starry Sky Empire. Even if he stopped this time, he believed that the two great Starry Sky Empire would not let it go. Longao could even be sure that after this matter, the two great Starry Sky Empire would definitely join forces to deal with him. In that case, why should he continue to endure? Only kill. At this moment, Longao could not care so much. Anyway, it was already like this. Even if it completely fell out, he would not hesitate. Since it was already like this, only by annihilating the first and second Starry Sky Empire would he be able to calm down. Longao did not even use his Starry Sky Corpse slave. He personally attacked. The primal chaos axe in his hands, almost no one could stop it. Everyone was shocked as they watched in disbelief. Longao was this strong? If they didn't see it, 5 Pinnacle Universe Undyings and tens of other Universe Undyings weren't present, because no one knew when Longao would return. When the people who had received the news returned, they were also deeply shocked by what they saw. Sky. Was. Sky. 2. The only explanation was that Sky Emperor had gone mad. Even if Longao's cultivation level increased, he was still a Starry Sky legend. The gap between Starry Sky Legend, Starry Sky Undying, and Starry Sky Undying was huge. It was almost impossible for Longao to annihilate the first and second Starry Sky Empire. The 5 were not angry. Instead, they were pleasantly surprised. They searched high and low, only to find it by chance. They had been looking for traces of Longao, because with Longao's talent and potential, no one knew if Longao would break through the limit of Starry Sky Immortal Realm. If that was the case, the first and second Starry Sky Empire would be finished. Because of this, the 5 of them had already thought that they must kill Longao at the fastest speed. Only in this way could they save a lot of trouble for themselves. Thinking up to this point, the 5 of them brought dozens of Starry Sky Undying as they charged towards Longao. Sky Eagle sneered and said, "Longao, there is a path to heaven but you don't want to take it. There is no door to hell but you barge in. Today you can forget about leaving here alive. Not only you, even your empire will die with you." Ha 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 ha. Everyone laughed crazily, each and every one of them laughed shamelessly, because everyone seemed to have already seen that Longao would die. On the other hand, would Longao be afraid? From the beginning to the end, Longao did not have the slightest fear. After all, he had already shed all pretense of cordiality with the 2 great Starry Sky Empires. He did not care whether he lived or died. Moreover, Longao was fully confident that a few peak Starry Sky Immortals could not kill him. Not to mention Starry Sky Immortals, he was not even afraid of Starry Sky Rulers. Taking 10,000 steps back, even if his strength was not enough to fight against Starry Sky Undying and Starry Sky Undying, he still had the Chaos Palace. No one could stop him from entering the Chaos Palace, and no one could lock onto the location of the Chaos Palace. It could be said that as long as he had the Chaos Palace, no one in the entire universe could kill him. This was the power of the Chaos Palace. Longao did not say anything. His answer was the Chaos Axe in his hand. He kept on smashing it towards the dozens of people. Once an expert struck, one would know if he was the real deal. No one took Longao seriously. No matter what, Longao was just a Starry Sky legend. He had not even reached Starry Sky Undying. If that was the case, any one of them could easily kill Longao, let alone teaming up. But the result? The result was completely different from what they had imagined. Not to mention any one of them, even if all of them teamed up, they would not be able to kill Longao. This was because Longao had only used his first move. The super strength that Longao had displayed was a little too abnormal. Spatial cracks appeared in the surroundings. Everyone was shocked because the news of Longao being able to shatter the starry sky had already spread throughout the vast starry sky. It would be a lie to say that they were not afraid because everyone was very clear about what the spatial cracks meant. One by one, they scattered. If Longao's cultivation could continue to break through and reach the so-called Starry Sky Undying realm, then even Starry Sky Undying experts might be killed. Even so, Longao could still kill Starry Sky Undying experts with the help of the Chaos Axe and Starry Sky Mastery. Chapter 2370. Gotcha. One of the Undying didn't have time to dodge and was hit by the Chaos Act. With a crack, this universe Undying was already half dead from the smash. Before he could react, he was swallowed by the space cracks around him. Seeing what had just happened, everyone was completely dumbfounded. They couldn't believe that with just one move, Longao had smoothly killed a starry sky Undying. It was a little inconceivable. The five-peak star Undying retreated and looked at Longao in shock. Was what had just happened real? They didn't continue to attack. The five didn't attack either. Both sides looked at each other coldly, as if they were afraid of each other. As for the others, they stood around and watched Longao kill the Undying star Undying. Longao, you're really shameless. You want to watch from the sidelines. As expected, Longao had guessed that both sides knew about his plan. If it wasn't for the godly mathematician, the two empires would have already started a war. Longao was very clear about what it meant to start a war. If the two empires started a war, he could just sit back and reap the benefits. But all of this was ruined because of the godly mathematician. He didn't come earlier or later, but at that moment. He had missed such a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and now the two starry sky empires had joined forces to deal with him. You live and I die. It's normal. I want to kill you, and if I'm not wrong, you want to kill me too. What Longao said was true. In the vast universe, it was either you die or I die. This was the cruelty of reality. If you don't do this, you won't be able to survive in the universe, and you won't know when you'll reach the end of your life. How could the five not know this? So what if they knew? Life and death was a very normal thing. Lin Han sneered and said coldly, Longao, we can give you a chance now. As long as you agree, we'll forget about what happened before. How about it? Longao didn't say anything. He also wanted to hear what Lin Han had to say. Seeing that Longao did not speak, Lin Han said, Our conditions are very simple. As long as you and your empire choose to submit to our subsidiary empire from now on and submit to us forever, we will let bygones be bygones. If it was before, the five of them would have definitely killed Longao. But now, the situation was completely different. The strength Longao had just displayed was too powerful, killing a starry sky Undying in one move. No one knew if Longao could kill a peak starry sky Undying. It was better to be safe than sorry. If Longao really had the strength to kill a peak starry sky immortal, then things would be troublesome. No one was unafraid of death, including peak universe Undyings. It was normal for them to be afraid of death. No one was willing to meet force with force, because the five of them had never thought that Longao's strength would be so strong, to such an extent. Hearing this, Longao laughed. He had seen shameless people before, but he had never seen such shamelessness. The shamelessness of these five was unrivaled. They were afraid of him, but they didn't want to leave any future troubles, so they came up with this method to make him submit. In this way, it didn't matter whether he died or not. Did the five of you sleep last night? What did this mean? The five of them did not answer because they did not know what Longao wanted to say. What did he mean by those words? Longao smiled and said, I already guessed that you all must have slept last night. Otherwise, how could such a beautiful dream come true? So that was it. The five of them instantly understood Longao's meaning. Although they were angry, they still didn't dare to act rashly. Because there was no need to mention Longao's strength, especially that move of his that shattered the starry sky. If they were swallowed by the starry sky crack, the consequences would be unimaginable. It would be a lie to say that they weren't afraid. What should they do? The five of them knew Longao's character very well. Just now, they were just imagining things. If Longao was a person who would compromise easily, then Longao wouldn't have come to this point. The five people's faces were very gloomy, as ugly as they could be. Because they didn't dare to act casually, but they also didn't want to give up easily. They were in a dilemma. Longao's talent was too strong. In such a short time, not only did his cultivation break through from a Starry Sky supreme expert to a Starry Sky legend, but his strength was also so strong. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they would have found it hard to believe. Seeing the expressions on the five's faces, Longao instantly understood their meaning and sneered in his heart. "Are the five of you afraid?" Without waiting for the five to speak, Longao continued, "I will remember what happened today. In the future, I will personally go to the first and second Starry Sky empires and destroy them." Longao's meaning was very simple. If there was a grudge, there would be a grudge, and if there was a grudge, there would be a complaint. The five's faces instantly turned gloomy. If it was the previous Longao, the five of them wouldn't have taken him seriously. But now, the situation was completely different. Today, Longao's cultivation had broken through to the Starry Sky legend realm. No one knew when Longao would break through to the Starry Sky immortal realm, or even the limit of the Starry Sky immortal realm. The five of them were almost certain that if Longao's cultivation broke through to the Starry Sky immortal realm, or even the limit of the Starry Sky immortal realm, then there was no doubt that in the entire vast Starry Sky, except for the Starry Sky ruler, no one would be a match for Longao. At that time, whether it was the first or second Starry Sky empires, they would all be destroyed. What do the three of you think? Earth Eagle and Human Eagle both looked at their big brother. Lin Han and Wang Tao had already decided that no matter what happened, they would kill all of them and eliminate all future troubles. They would not leave any trouble for themselves. Now, as long as Sky Eagle nodded, there was no doubt that the five of them would join forces. When that time came, Longao would have a hard time resisting them in a 1 versus 5 situation. Although he had the help of the Starry Sky realm and the Chaos Axe, after all, the gap between their realms was too big. If Longao's cultivation could continue to break through from the Starry Sky Legend realm to the Starry Sky Immortal realm, then there was no doubt that Longao wouldn't be afraid of the Starry Sky Immortal realm, and he would even be able to fight the limit of the Starry Sky Immortal realm. However, Longao was even more aware that it wouldn't be easy for him to break through from the Starry Sky Legend realm to the Starry Sky Immortal realm, unless he encountered a fortuitous encounter. Sky Eagle pondered for a moment, but still couldn't make a decision. Longao's strength just now was too strong. If there was an accident, he wouldn't even have the chance to regret it. Sky Eagle was very afraid of Longao and Longao's shattered starry sky. Chapter 2371. Big Brother. Sky Eagle sighed in his heart. Just when the five of them didn't know what to do, the situation suddenly changed. Longao didn't retreat at all. Instead, he took the initiative to attack. Before he arrived, the Chaos Axe in his hand had already slashed out. A terrifying force came out. Before the five of them could react, many spatial cracks appeared around them. They were shocked. Of course, the five of them knew the seriousness of the situation. They didn't dare to be careless and immediately began to dodge. "Where is he?" Looking at Longao, who had disappeared in front of them, the five of them were completely dumbfounded. They had already guessed where Longao had gone. If nothing unexpected happened, Longao had taken the initiative to attack just now. It was completely a diversion in order to smoothly enter the Soaring Dragon Empire. There was no hesitation. The five of them immediately began to attack the Soaring Dragon Empire. However, the result was the same. Even if all of them joined forces, they couldn't break the seal. The five of them had a gloomy face. It was as ugly as it could get. Within the Soaring Dragon Empire, Longao had just returned, and everyone surrounded him, talking all at once. It was a mess. Longao was very unhappy. He dispersed everyone and went to find his big brother. He went straight to the point and said, "Big brother, the situation outside is very dangerous. I believe you already know. If that's the case, immediately make arrangements. No matter who it is, no one is allowed to leave the Empire." Of course, Longing knew the seriousness of the situation. "Seventh brother, don't worry. I have already passed down the order. No matter who it is, as long as they take half a step out of the Empire, they will be killed without mercy." Seeing Longao's serious face, Longing said, "Seventh brother, I know the situation is very unfavorable for us. However, you don't have to worry. With the seal, it won't be easy for the First and Second Starry Sky Empire to break the seal." How could Longao not know what his big brother meant? Although there was the seal of Long Chong and Xiling's Chaos Stone Tablet, it wasn't impossible for the two Starry Sky Empire to break the seal. What if? In this world, there was always a what if. If the 5 Pinnacle Universe Undyings really broke through the seal and barged in, then the entire Empire would be in a terrible situation. If that happened, he wouldn't even have the chance to regret it. What should he do? No matter how much he thought about it, he could not come up with a good idea. Longao knew very well that if someone could refine the Primal Chaos Tablet and become a Starry Sky ruler, it would be extremely easy to deal with the 2 great Starry Sky empires. It was something that could be done in minutes. But the biggest problem now was that no one could refine the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet in such a short period of time. He felt helpless. It was very depressing. Most of them were at a loss of what to do, because whether it was the first or the second Starry Sky Empire, their individual strength was too strong, especially when they joined forces. It was easy to imagine what kind of power they would have. "Seventh brother, big brother, what's wrong?" She was very surprised because Long Ying had never seen her seventh brother like this. "Seventh brother, instead of sitting here and waiting for death, we might as well take the initiative to attack, not knowing that the 2 Starry Sky empires have joined forces to deal with us." Take the initiative to attack? What did Big Brother mean? "Big brother, the difference in strength between us is too great. If we were to act rashly, it would be very disadvantageous for us. If they could take the initiative to attack, Longao wouldn't be so serious. If it was any other Starry Sky Empire, then so be it. Only the 9 great Starry Sky Empires, they were all the strongest empires in the vast universe. If he had another 100 years, he might be able to. But now, he obviously wasn't their match. Long Ying, however, smiled. "Seventh brother, we have the Space Corps slave army and an ancient Heaven Corps slave. That way, the Space Corps slave army can definitely deal with the 2 great Starry Sky empires." The Space Corps slave army was indeed powerful, and the best way to deal with the 2 great Starry Sky empires. However, Longao was still a bit uneasy. Because the matter was simple, what he truly feared were the 5 Pinnacle Universe Undyings, including the 10s of them. As for the others, he didn't even put them in his eyes. Longao was very clear that if he didn't kill the 5 Pinnacle Universe Undyings, then no matter how many he killed, it would be useless. Just 1 Space Undying Corpse slave? That didn't seem to be enough. Longao did not hide anything either. He spoke about what he thought in his heart in full detail. However, Long Ying wasn't worried at all. Instead, she said calmly, "Seventh brother, I've thought about this matter. With the Space Corps slave army's strength, we can definitely trap the 2 great Starry Sky empires, including the 5 Pinnacle Universe Undyings." Longao didn't speak, only listening quietly. "What we need now is time. As long as we can stall for time, we'll have enough time to prepare." Longao instantly understood what his big brother meant. His big brother's meaning was very simple. He wanted to use the Space Corps slave army to stall the 2 great Starry Sky empires and buy time for his empire. This way, once he and his empire developed, whether it was the number 1 or number 2 Starry Sky empire, they wouldn't be his match. Since things were already like this, there was no other way. Thinking about this, Longao nodded in agreement and said, "Big brother, I'll leave this matter to you. I want some peace and quiet." "No problem." Long Ying was very clear that his seventh brother was too tired during this period of time. Anyway, the Space Corps slave army was under Long Ying's control. She could mobilize the entire Space Corps slave army at any time. Half an hour later, everyone from the First and Second Starry Sky Empires was still frantically breaking the seal. They hoped to break the seal sooner and invade the Empire to destroy it. However, the result was that even when the two great Starry Sky Empires joined hands, they still couldn't break the seal and invade the Empire. Just when the five of them didn't know what to do, figures began to rush out from the soaring Dragon Empire. At a glance, there were people everywhere. The Space Corps slave army had at least millions of Space Corps slaves, while the First and Second Starry Sky Empires only had tens of millions of Space Corps slaves. Even if one of them fought against 10 Space Corps slaves, the Space Corps slaves wouldn't have the slightest fear. With their immortal bodies, the tens of millions of people from the two great Starry Sky Empires were no match for the Space Corps slave army. This was without a doubt. Everyone in the vast starry sky knew about Longao's Space Corps slave army. Because of this, when they saw the densely packed Space Corps slaves swarming out, whether it was the three Starry Sky Eagles, Lin Han or Wang Tao, they were a little dumbfounded. How would they dare to meet force with force? Chapter 2372. Millions of Starry Sky Corps slaves began to attack the two great Starry Sky Empires. What kind of concept was this? 1 against 10, with the strength and immortality of the Starry Sky Corps slaves, it was a piece of cake. Whether it was the three eagles, Lin Han or Wang Tao, they were all very depressed. Longao obviously did not have the strength to fight back, but he summoned an army of Starry Sky Corps slaves. It was simply shameless to the extreme. However, the five of them had no other choice. They could not break the seal, they could not enter the Empire. In this case, they could only watch Longao hide in the Empire and not come out. Retreat? Without any other choice, both sides chose to retreat. Whether it was the First or Second Starry Sky Empires, they were very clear that with the strength and immortality of the Starry Sky Corps slaves, they would definitely die if they continued to fight like this. For a gentleman to take revenge, 10 years is not too late. The First and Second Starry Sky Empires frantically retreated, and in a short while, they disappeared without a trace. All the Starry Sky Corps slaves disappeared. Long Ying's figure suddenly appeared. She coldly looked at the people who had disappeared and said to herself, "You will regret this." Soaring Dragon Empire. Back Mountain Forbidden Area. Longao was alone, thinking quietly. Now, his family members were all in seclusion to refine the Chaos Stone Tablet in the shortest time and become a Starry Sky ruler. Only his big brother was not in seclusion. The real reason why he was not in seclusion was to hide from the outside world and not to arouse suspicion. He was very helpless. Now, the most important thing was to think of a way to deal with the First and Second Starry Sky Empires. Otherwise, the two great Starry Sky Empires would not let it go. It would always be a problem. How to deal with it? The First and Second Starry Sky Empires were too strong. The Empire's strength alone was not a match for the two great Starry Sky Empires. The more he thought, the more dignified he became. The more he thought, the more helpless he felt. A few minutes later. Seventh brother, the First and Second Starry Sky Empires have all left, but the two great Starry Sky Empires will not let it go. We still have to be careful. How could Longao not know what his big brother meant? He nodded. Big brother, as long as we have the Corps slave army, as you guessed, the First and Second Starry Sky Empires will not come easily. Long Ying's face was very solemn. She sighed deeply and said helplessly, "Seventh brother, you don't know. I'm not worried about them. I'm only worried about one thing. That is, the 2 starry sky empires will join forces with the other 7 starry sky empires. That will be troublesome. In the vast starry sky, there were a total of 9 powerful starry sky empires. They were the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th starry sky empires. The 9 starry sky empires could be said to be the overlords of the vast starry sky. Not to mention the 9 starry sky empires joining forces, even a random starry sky empire would be difficult to deal with. If it was really as Big Brother had guessed, then this matter was indeed very troublesome. When the 9 great starry sky empires joined forces, the starry sky cultivator army would come in an endless stream. The millions of starry sky corps slave army was far from enough. Seeing 7th brother not speaking, Longing could also be considered depressed to the extreme. It's true that what you fear will come true. Big Brother, even if the 1st and 2nd starry sky empires want to join forces with the other 7 starry sky empires, the other starry sky empires will not agree. After all, the 9 starry sky empires have been fighting openly and secretly for so many years. 7th brother, I know what you mean. If it's something else, maybe they won't. But to deal with us, I'm afraid the other starry sky empires will choose to compromise. Longing was very clear in her heart that her empire was developing too fast, so fast that it was a bit abnormal. She would be lying if she said that she was not afraid. Longing could almost say that the 9 starry sky empires, no matter which one of them was, were very afraid of her empire and wanted to destroy it. Because of this, the probability of the other 7 starry sky empires joining forces with the 1st and 2nd starry sky empires to deal with her was too high. If it were her, she would probably do the same. There was no doubt about it. It was very helpless. Big Brother, what should we do now? Today, Longao's mind was in a mess. After all, there were too many things, one after another, as if there was no end to it. Longing thought for a while and said, "We should continue to seal the plane. Without our orders, no one is allowed to take half a step out. This way we can still resist for a while." Okay. Big Brother's idea was probably the only way now. Blindly defending did not seem to be a long-term solution. No matter what, once the 9 starry sky empires joined forces, they would definitely go all out. If they did not destroy the soaring dragon empire, they would not give up. This is the first thing to do. Secondly, we can't go on like this. Otherwise, we will be destroyed by the 9 starry sky empires sooner or later. I have thought about it, and the only way is to take drastic measures. Take drastic measures? What does this mean? Before Longao could ask, Longing had already said, "It's very simple to take drastic measures. The 9 starry sky empires will definitely come to deal with us later. We can send 9 teams to attack the 9 starry sky empires separately. We will not fight them head-on. When they return, we will retreat. When they leave, we will continue to fight. I don't believe that the 9 starry sky empires will be able to take care of each other." "Okay, Big Brother, we will do as you say." This idea was too good. This way, the 9 starry sky empires would have some scruples. Longao stood up and said, "Big Brother, I will leave this matter to you. Don't worry." Longao was very helpless because this was not the way to go. Without enough strength, they would be beaten everywhere. They would not even have a chance to fight back. Especially when the 9 starry sky empires joined forces, this matter would become more and more troublesome. They must not sit still and wait for death. There were only 2 ways now. The first way was to refine more starry sky corps slaves. After all, just a few million starry sky corps slaves was not enough to fight against the 9 starry sky empires. The second way was to break through their cultivation at the fastest speed. If they could reach the starry sky immortal realm, They would not only be able to easily eliminate Starry Sky Immortal Realm experts, they could even fight against peak Starry Sky Immortal Realm experts. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.